St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kimberly M. Gardner writes in part, quote, "It is illegal to wave weapons in a threatening manner at those participating in a nonviolent protest. And while we are fortunate this situation did not escalate into deadly force, this type of conduct is unacceptable in St. Louis." Gardner says she brought charges after a thorough investigation by police, but an attorney for the couple says no crime was committed. Mark McCloskey tells Fox News he was advised to film protesters with his cell phone instead of taking out his guns, but he asks how that would help if hundreds of people broke into his home.
Fox's Matt Finn. The protesters were on their way to the mayor's home at the time. The Missouri governor has already said he would pardon the couple if they're tried and convicted. China's government being accused by U.S. prosecutors of protecting a long-running hacking scheme, including recent efforts to steal research on a coronavirus vaccine.
The Justice Department charged 2 Chinese men, accusing them of stealing hundreds of millions of dollars worth of technology over 10 years from multiple companies across the tech sector, including those working on virus vaccine research. Assistant Attorney General of National Security John Demers says the industries targeted are the same ones outlined in China's own Made in China 2025 plan.
While the plan calls for an innovation-driven approach, cases like this one show it is as much a roadmap to theft as it is a guide to innovation.
The hackers were first detected after targeting a U.S. Department of Energy network in Hanford, Washington, but Demers says they've hacked companies and NGOs all over the world. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
The Dow's been up over 100 points heading into the close. I'm Lisa Brady, and this is Fox News.
GPSI Guam is a professional technical services company that is a registered contractor for the federal government. They are SBA approved, 8A, and HubZone certified, providing program and project management, administration, technical support, logistics, and commodities. Find out more about GPSI and how they can help you today. Contact GPSI if you need assistance in meeting your small business subcontracting goals at 671-477-3058. They'll be happy to assist.
Hafidade, this is Carl from APL Guam. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future. Whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community, our dedicated team in Guam and on the U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit apl.com.
Go green, go hybrid, go to Nanbo Insurance, and your next power bill is on us. Insure your hybrid car at Nanbo and get up to $350 towards your next power bill. That's instant savings for keeping our island clean and green. Nanbo has been providing Guam with over 50 years of reliable and affordable auto insurance. At Nanbo, it pays to go green. Terms and conditions apply. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for details.
Half a day. Good morning. It's 6:06. I'm Ana Silva Tyron with a look at your local news from the Guam Daily Post. 8 new cases of COVID-19 were reported yesterday, but the majority of those had recent travel and were identified while in quarantine. This brings the total count of COVID-19 cases for Guam to 327 since testing started back in March. 87 cases remain active. As of Monday, 5 patients were in isolation in the hospital. Meanwhile, Public Health will be doing a mass testing today at the Tamuning Elementary School. Then they'll be at the Asin Maina Mayor's office. Testing will be conducted from 9 a.m. until noon. They say it's free. The Public Health is just asking individuals to bring with them an identification. Anyone experiencing symptoms consistent with COVID-19 are asked to contact their healthcare provider. Since the island has been placed in PCOR 3 on Monday, there are new requirements for displaced workers who are receiving unemployment benefits, and they'll need to be looking for a job or they could lose their benefits. The requirement is that they make at least 3 contacts every week. The job search is part of the eligibility guidelines that the Department of Labor issued for the federally funded unemployment benefit programs that have allowed displaced workers to receive up to $945 a week. Individuals will need to also keep a record of all your work search contacts and submit those when requested. The island's been in PCOR 3 since Monday, and even as many COVID-related restrictions have been lifted over the last several weeks, there continues to be an increase in the number of displaced workers. Guam has 34,544 workers who have been laid off, furloughed, or had their work hours reduced since March as a direct result of the COVID-19 pandemic. And that's according to data from the Department of Labor. The figures are based on the reporting of 1,900 employers who listed themselves as affected by the pandemic along HireGuam.com. Guam's PUA benefits is set at $345 a week. The additional $600 comes from the FPUC payments, which ends in July, unless extended by Congress. The end date for that is July 25th. Those who are still waiting for their PUA and FPUC benefits for the periods of unemployment prior to July 25th can still expect to get up to $945 in weekly benefits. In fact, Labor this week will push out the fifth batch of payments to include paper checks. The next payment release will be made next week. Well, Reverend Tax is also issuing 1,500 tax refund checks this week for 2019 tax filers. The refunds going out total $5.3 million. It covers tax returns filed up until January 31st. Congress is expected to vote on the Defense Authorization Act, and included in that is that provision which would allow H-2B labor for civilian projects here on Guam. Currently, H-2B labor has been limited primarily to military projects. The amendment was introduced by Guam Congressman Mike Nicholas. It would extend that to civilian projects. He says Congress is expected to vote on the full NDAA today. More news after this.
Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro in Hagåtña is taking your local favorite dishes and serve them with extra flair. Mezcla is ready to serve you and your family for your dine-in experience and takeout services. To ensure everyone's safety and comfort, Team Mezcla has taken further steps in maintaining a clean and sanitized area for you and your family while dining in. For more information, please call 479-2652 or 479-2653. Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro, a true taste of Guam.
Senator Tello Taitagui thinks an ethics complaint filed against her is politically motivated, but GURA Director Ray Tapasnia, who filed the complaint, says otherwise and wants an apology from Taitagui. Tapasnia lodging the ethics complaint against the senator over statements made during a confirmation hearing back in May. Tapasnia says they were defamatory remarks about his character. He says the statements could discourage future public testimony or discourage individuals from accepting appointments by the governor to any board. He says he'll gladly drop any ethics complaint if Senator Taitagui apologizes, not to him, but to the governor's appointee and to the general public. Taitagui says that the timing of this complaint demonstrates that it is purely political. She asserts there's absolutely nothing wrong with me advising a nominee to an agency, board, or commission that by stepping up to the plate, he or she should be prepared for the good, the ugly, and everything in between should they be confirmed by the legislature, she says. Well, plans for the election are moving forward, and 3 new ballot counting machines will be arriving soon, along with the over 100,000 ballots. The 3 new tabulators will make counting ballots much faster because they won't stop every time that the write-in votes are detected. They were purchased using $600,000 in federal grants. Director of the Election Commission, Maria Pangilinan, says that they're also ready to accept in-office absentee voting. That'll start on July 30th, and that's for voters who don't want to go to the polls on Election Day. The primary elections are scheduled for August 29th. If you want to view a sample ballot, you can take a look at the GEC website at gec.guam.gov. And those are your top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Ray with your weather.
It says here, partly sunny with isolated showers. Isolated thunderstorms are in today's forecast this morning, especially according to this forecast. Southeast winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Daytime highs today should be about 89 degrees. The sun will be out. It's going to bring the heat index up to about 96. Partly cloudy and isolated showers. Southeast winds around 10 miles an hour tonight. Becoming light, and overnight lows should be about 80 degrees. For those of you that are curious as to what sunrise might be looking like over at Pirates Cove, I got pictures. I've got the art. There it is. Jeff got out a little bit early this morning, about just before 6 o'clock, and snapped this as the sun was breaking the horizon there. Sunset tonight is going to be at 6:51. Now, I know she's online right now and might be a little bit embarrassed that I'm going to be showing this, but I just got some great. Well, first of all, Pam Duval has got sunrise up in Chigo, so that's what it looked like up north. Haven't seen anything from the south yet, but when we start talking about different sunsets last night, and how many of you thought, oh, it's a poo, snotty kind of just soggy night. So it's not going to be any kind of sunset tonight. Wrong. Here's what it looked like at the parking lot over at Turay last night. Sarah Garin got this shot. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at all the colors in there.
Very beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost religious. It's almost a religious picture. Can you not see Jesus in the picture with his arms outstretched? Maybe the Blessed
Actually,
Mother.
you know what? Right there in the cloud.
Maybe the Blessed Mother's in there. And as usual, one of my favorite things about sunsets on Guam, you wait 5 minutes and you got a whole other view. How about that?
Wow.
How about that? Yeah, and she's got all of this stuff on video. And she's like, well, I got my sunset. Where are you getting yours at? And I'm like, at the parking lot at Lumpia House. I had the craving last night. 6:13 in the morning. That's news and weather together. This the point.
Docomo Pacific Business presents the Work Better Together webinar series. Session 1's topic is Reconnecting Guam, Tourism's Path Forward. This free webinar will feature industry experts in tourism and technology sharing the latest information on the future of tourism in Asia Pacific. Join this 2-hour online event on July 29th at 10 a.m. Register for free at docomopacific.eventbrite.com. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
FHP Health Center now open longer, later hours for you. Go to the island's best one-stop clinic for all your medical, dental, and vision needs during this COVID-19 pandemic. FHP Health Center operates Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. FHP's Cancer Center, Adult Medicine, Pediatrics, Dental, and Vision departments are open for extended hours and available for appointments. FHP Home Health Department is open to continue care for patients at their homes. For appointments, call 646-5825 and press 2. FHP, our island, your clinic.
Gotcha. Let me see. Portions of the program brought to you by the guys over at Mount Carmel. They're getting ready for you. Here we are. It's already late August or late July, and they know that you're thinking about school. They've been thinking about school with your little kids for a while. So they got preschool, kindergarten, elementary, and middle school classes all set to reopen in August. Accrediting teams recently swung by and awarded Mount Carmel the highest scores and maximum 6-year term possible. Their academic and music programs especially continue to win awards on Guam and internationally. Register your children today and enjoy the best in-classroom or distance learning possible. After-school programs are available at Mount Carmel 565-5128. Breakfast time over at Wendy's. Yeah, we can do that for you, but I want you to target lunch here. What do we got for lunch? We got a couple of different specials going on. We got the summer strawberry chicken salad, or as an old friend of ours used to call it, chicken salad. But you can also get the spaghetti combo meals with spaghetti with meat, sauce, fries, and a drink for just $5. You get the biggie value with double the spaghetti, large fries, 42-ounce drink for $8. There's hearty meat sauce spaghetti combos at Wendy's. Now that's better.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Is it? Wait a second. I was going to say, is it Monday? But I know better because we already had a Monday this week, right? It was. We already.
I'm lost.
Check
I'm
that.
lost.
Had a few Mondays this week.
Is Monday a pick or 3? I don't know. Which way do we go? Is it up, down, sideways? I don't know. Welcome, whatever day it is, welcome to the program. Excuse the mess. It is the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point. My name is Ray Gibson. Mike's side with baby sister, Mona Silva Tyron, who has got congestion, and it's not coronavirus. She's going to blame me. If it is, when she gets it, she's going to blame me.
I will blame you.
Wow.
Because there's, it's all this social life and partying.
I don't go anywhere.
Uh-huh. You run.
By myself.
Was it possible that you ran into somebody's, aerosol mist, and is it possible you got it that way?
Because if I run by over here at the sewage treatment facility, I might have caught something there.
However, if you were squeamish about maybe running into somebody's aerosol cloud, you could put a mask on, right? You could. Where's yours?
Right here.
You have yours? Okay.
Yes.
You could put your mask on,
Okay.
and what's unique about that particular mask that
It's 'cause
Monticello
it's
is wearing
red
right now?
and
It's red. Hold on, let me see if I can put you directly up on the screen so everybody can see. Just you. I don't know if can you make it out, Joe? Can you make out her?
It says The Point.
It says The Point.
Right.
She's got a mask that says The Point. Now, while she's putting hers on, I suppose maybe I ought to put mine on. And
How do we sound?
This
We sound like robbers.
basically sound
Stick
like
'em up.
hell. So this is not going to be it's not going to be a long segment, but I likewise have a point mask that I can wear wherever I go. Wherever.
What did you say?
When. Okay, so you see people that do this, and okay, so I'm reading up on masks to come up with more excuses not to wear them, and you see people, a bunch of guys yesterday, and they got the mask up here like this. And then they put it down over their chin. But the problem is, over here has been exposed to aerosol mist all day. Ooh. So when you put it down underneath your chin in your beard zone, when you put it back up, what did you just do?
You transferred
You just transferred deadly coronavirus to your face.
But wait, let's talk about the nice mask that Romeo
Romy
gave
and
us.
Miranda, right? So, okay, you can take your mask off now because I want to be able to hear you. This is like... Every once in a while, you ever get to a point where somebody's got that mask on, it's so tight you don't understand what they're saying. You just go
Especially
and
behind the glass.
Hope it's not a question.
Trying to use hand gestures to communicate with people these days.
Okay, my favorite is they get the plexiglass thing, right? So you've been walking around with merchandise all day, and they get the plexiglass thing, and then they give it to the lady so she can tally it up in a thing, and. No, it's put it over here on the side so I can get it. I don't understand what these things are for.
It's if you sneeze, and so that while you're talking, the droplets don't.
The aerosol, the aerosol poison clouds of coronavirus don't get to them. Yeah, or else they've got that little transaction thing at the bottom, and you feel like a cat underneath the door. What's there?
Okay, let's talk about
squeeze
the mask.
items underneath.
Really back.
Reel me
These
back.
are from
Okay.
Romeo Miranda.
Romeo Miranda. What's the name of his shop?
Buenos Den Hoffa
Buenos Den Hoffa Day.
He's on the second floor of the Agania Shopping Center, and then there's another location up in Dededo.
Okay.
I haven't been to that.
Do we need to do the disclaimer on this? Is that they have virtually zero therapeutic value at all. They're designed to help you prevent you from talking, touching your face, and also let you in and out of stores. This is the new key. This is the new key. To virtually everything. If you don't have one of these things, then you're not allowed to participate in what current Western society is going to be like.
So I have as many masks as I do reading glasses, and they're everywhere because you take them off and you put them down, and then when you need them, you just don't have them in hand.
I went to a place. The guy says, sorry, you got to wear a mask before you get in. I went outside, picked up one off the ground. Said, will this do? This is okay,
you have
right?
one that says The Point.
I know, and I'm gonna. Like I said, this is going to be my entry now into virtually everything that we've got. This is the new law. Everybody is you've got to wear a mask if you want to participate in polite, civilized society.
Yeah,
I'm going to wear that thing in the store, and they're going to be like, "Is that you, Ray?"
And he also gave one to Bob.
No, it's not.
Bob gets
Bob
one too.
got-
All right, good.
Yeah.
Now Bob needs it because he's an old guy. He's an old guy. 6:21 in the morning. Let's get this party started, shall we?
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name.
All right, fellow maskaters, Pam Duvall's online here this morning. Pam came in number one. Pam was online first this morning. Outstanding work. Followed by Sherry Iriarty. There's James Iriarty. I got two of them? No, that's James Howard. Wait a second. Who do I have? I have multiple Jameses here. I have Sherry Iriarty, James Iriarty, and James Howard. This is so weird. It's like a weird place in the universe. Ismail is there. Dave Torrey, Heather Perez. Good morning, Mary Lou Berseman, Rico Blancaflor, and Jane out there. Rico got a great picture with his beautiful family in Facebook out there somewhere. That's awesome. We got Jane Nauta runs in at number 10. Number 11, again, weird place in the universe. The planets, asked James Howard, are converging. Jay now followed by Jay Rojas.
Happy birthday, Jay.
At number 11. And we got to do shout to Cousin Troy. Cousin Troy's online this morning. And
Morning,
Cousin
Cholo.
Troy.
Good morning, my
I'm
most beautifulest, favoriteest cousin in the whole wide world.
Okay, I'm going to get it. He put a picture up on online, and it was a picture that Shelly had posted, I think in a family chat or something like that. So hold on. Wait first. I'm going to find it. Dave Torrey's waiting for me to go dig. But wait, hold it. It's almost there. He's got a picture up on Facebook Live of yours and my great-great-grandmother. Did you see that?
Yes, but it's actually our great-great-grandmother on the Underwood side.
Right.
Yeah, so she is...
So she would be a Martinez.
She was a Martinez. Her
Yes.
name is Rosa Pangilinan Martinez.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any other information about her other than it's possible that she died from the Spanish flu?
That's what I got, and that was actually from Auntie Annie.
Mm-hmm.
I stole it from her page.
Oh, is that where that comes from? Okay, let me see if I can get this
So
online.
if that's her great-grandmother, that's our great-great-grandmother.
Yeah. So we got it. Here's the picture here in just a second. Oh, so Mana posted that. Okay, but Cousin Troy reposted this. So
I
let me
didn't
get this
post
up.
it. I stole it from her page, and then I put it on our family chat.
I'm all
But
torn.
she is actually not a Taurus, but she's our family on the Martinez side.
They're related one way or the other because it went in a circle. So anyway, there she is, and there, you can look at the picture, and I can look at the way she's standing and see virtually every woman in my family.
When they're getting mad at you?
Yes, yes. It's the hand on the hip, but it's not the hand on the hip like the loving. I'm just gonna hold myself. I got my hand on my hip so that when I need to smash you, backhand you, it's ready to go. It's all coiled up like a spring.
I can throw this chair at you.
So that's
serious.
So for those of you that are wondering, how it is that we proclaim ourselves members Brown, because we got legacy. We got anyway. So there's other people on the Facebook Live. I suppose I ought to find out who these guys are and get them all properly situated into the actual fold. There, Simon Sanchez is on. Simon Sanchez, the first face, him and beautiful Auntie Lou, the first face that I saw when I was cruising around yesterday morning. I got up early on Liberation morning. I said, I'm going to have my Liberation run. Because we didn't do the Liberation Mile, so I went out and had my Liberation run, and I don't know, 5:45, something like that, and he and Auntie Lou are getting out of the car, and a great way to start Liberation with a couple of people that I dearly love, and we talked for a couple of minutes. Simon Sanchez, something about running my feet and running my mouth, and then I had to take off after that. But anyway, awesome seeing you. Dave Duenas is there. Juanita Machi, good morning. Ed Borrow and Marie Pueblo is online. Pam Duval says, without rallies and fundraisers, knowing platforms and where they stand on issues, a Zoom or live phone call would be what the public needs. That'll be all right. I'll see if I can work through some of that. But frankly, there are some of these political candidates that are only in the top 15 because they couldn't find anybody else to run for either of the parties. It's possible that there might be some people that I just don't have the energy to talk to and go, okay, well, tell me about your platform, please. Who else is on? I got Pat and Norma Jean Flores, Vince Minglonia, Rudy Magallanes is there. June Bells Carino is online. And then I see Belen Sidell and multiple hearts this morning. Belen, you've already completed the challenge, right? I think Belen is one of those urban fitness challenge people like me. Yeah, and she's probably already done. She probably signed up for all three of the different things, and she's probably already done with all of them. I did the calculations this morning, and I will have to run at least 5 miles a day for the next 9 days if I'm going to complete the challenge.
You can do it.
Steak.
What?
Piece of steak.
Dude, I told you where I was last night watching the sunset. I'm sitting in the car. I can see Paul Bloss's place from over here, and I got Lumpia House over here. It was I did my 5 miles yesterday morning. I was thinking about doing another one later in the day.
You can run to and run back to your house.
But I got
it's about 3 miles.
I got that craving. It was crazy. Randy Kruger is there. I got Mark Cruz doing the wave this morning. Cheryl Ochai, V. Sablon LG, who makes me think blessy thoughts all weekend. Sonny Chang is there. Good morning to Joanne Cruz. Hafa Ade, Joey Unpinko. Nate Horn is online. Jose Martinez, another mask debating session. See, I found out last week I've got to say that word slowly. I've got to say those two words very slowly and put a deliberate pause between mask and debating. Rooster is there. Hafa Linda Titan Outrageous. Jess Mendiola, Hafalai, senators and candidates. Here's a thought. After the election, can I have your plywood and 2x4 so I can build bus shelters for the students and the transit riders? Isn't that nice? Jess? You are a wonderful human being, because I was already pondering stealing them for shutters. I passed by. I passed by Uncle Robert's thing yesterday. Had that drive-through rally thing yesterday, and there were a couple of signs that some of the politicians left up. And I was thinking, that's drive-through shopping for Ray Ray. One is exactly the right size of one of my back windows at the house. I was thinking that would be a nice addition. All right, now right-click Jess's name if you want to help out. Charlene, Marcia So, Tony, and Annette and Finko. Somebody told me that Tony's running for senator.
Viva Tony.
I got Cody James, Tommy Barcinas, Alphacuz, Vivian Castro-Leon, Kevin Canata, Chris Rabbits, Vivian Cunningham from over at Morico is online, Shihan Caldwell listening all the way in Nebraska. Question, stateside stateside that are listening to the broadcast, are there any liberation festivities going on in the States? Now, obviously, you guys, because it's the States, right? You're probably not going to be celebrating with a parade and fireworks and that kind of thing. But are there any little get-together, I don't know, like in the Eagle Lodges or someplace where, we just get everybody together and have pretend red rice and barbecue chicken anymore. Just fry it, pick it up over at the Popeyes, whatever. Just bring it on in. I'm just kind of curious. Annette Adavesquez is online. She's down in San Diego. Here's the thing. I mean, get a bunch of Chamorros out in San Diego and up and down California. Chances are likely they probably are not celebrating, because aren't they still in one of these Gavin Newsom kind of crazy lockdown, insane lockdowns? I think so. Let me see here. Denise Legaspi, virtual townhouses is also a great way to get the candidates out to the people. June Bell says, Buenas, saw you running in Tucson yesterday. Was on my way to the beach. Great Liberation Day start off. On your way to the beach at 6 o'clock in the morning, June Bells? Whoa. That's commitment. I'm getting the pavilion before anybody else does. I'm staking it out. You can come to me. What is that? What is that? You got a registration form? You got that from Parks and Rec? Says you're allowed to be in this pavilion? Possession is 9/10 of the law, right? I got here first. Back off, Chico. Good for you, June Bells. Let me see. Javier at the league is there. Patty Cruz and Chad and Nathan Sablan Escura. San Diego Guam Club. Did they have one? Send pictures. Send pictures right now if you got it. If anybody's posting some pictures of stateside stuff, send it to us, because we got a thing. We got the WhatsApp 988-5874. That's 988-5874, and I'll be happy to take some of those and put them onto the machine. Ray says, Rudy Magallanes, did you know that my dad back in the day was hurt while fixing heavy machinery for Pedro Martinez? They were kind enough to send my dad to the mainland for medical. How kind is that? Long ago, during the olden days. There was a whole different time, a whole different etiquette, a whole different kind of, I don't want to say culture, but it was a small town. It's a small town. You got hurt in my backyard doing something, and I feel obligated to make sure that you get all situated and taken care of. Not unusual to hear about some families that sent other children from somebody else's family for no other reason other than to be nice. You know what? Your kid is a smart kid. He's clever. Needs to get an education. I know you can't afford to go to college or to send the kid to college, so we'll send it. We'll send the kid for you. Speaking of college, now there might be some of you with recent 2020 grads wondering how you're going to pay for college tuition. I found a place where you can sign up and get scholarships for your kid. There's scholarships all over the place, but I think this might be something that's unique, something that you might be able to find some kind of, I don't know, maybe this could be the answer to all of your questions. It's the Satanic Temple. You're laughing. You're laughing now.
What?
Let me read to you what it is.
Sell your soul.
Let me read to you what it is that they're looking
loans
for.
Will be gone.
It's the same concept. It's the same concept, isn't it? I mean, government and student aid, isn't that one of the signs of the apocalypse? Isn't that the number of the beast? Is how much was your student loan for? $666,000. The Satanic Temple has announced that recent high school graduates can apply for the Devil's Advocate Scholarship Program. Any student who graduated from high school this year is eligible to apply for either of two academic scholarships that are sponsored. To apply, students who choose to can answer one of two prompts. What initiatives have you undertaken that are consistent with TST's tenets and missions? Or please discuss and describe in detail any one of the teachers who crushed your spirit, undermined your self-confidence, and made you hate every minute you were forced to be in school.
Wow.
Is this, so
Well,
you're
I
all
have
going,
a lot of those.
Yeah, see, it says
You qualify.
the pursuit of knowledge and the protection of bodily autonomy constitute an essential component of TST's, hold on, I got a mission. The compulsory school system, in opposition to our beliefs, violates students' fundamental civil rights and ingrains obedience to unearned authority. There's everybody that I went to at Father Duenas that is going, oh, God, that's right. Defenders of schools often celebrate the rare teacher who is supportive. This is dishonest because inspirational teachers are anomalies. Much more common, Catholic school kids, listen up, much more common are the teachers who abusively wield their power and are outright cruel. Often, these teachers, are you thinking of names, Monica? Can you see their heads now?
I'm going right down the list.
Often-
They're all my teachers.
Often these teachers leave lifelong psychological scars.
PTSD.
Everyone has Everyone has horror stories about teachers, but this is considered unremarkable and taken for granted. TST wants to draw attention to this and other problems with schooling. TST's opposition to tyrannical constructs is core and foundational. I guarantee there's every single one of you that is listening to this going, he's got me in a box. He's got me in a box. We've all got one or two or three or four teachers that in contrast to the ones that we remember fondly, the ones who took us under their wing, counseled us, guided us gently through the whole
Remy
educational
Cruz
process.
is my PE teacher at St.
Remy.
Anthony.
Remy, yeah, everybody. That was the guy. That was the exception to a lot of the different rules, right?
The exception.
Yeah, and then you've got the ones where you just go as like a bullying thing every day from first grade to sixth grade to eighth grade, and then all the way through high school. How do you get away from it? Well, if you've got kids that have been complaining, God, don't talk to my daughter. She's already writing. She's already practicing. The Satanic Temple is where you'd go to be able to get this. Now, I didn't say a whole lot about burning black candles at midnight on a pentagram, but maybe there's some of that education too. Couldn't hurt. 6:35 in the morning, and that's enough of that for right now. We'll jump back into some of the other topics and things that are of interest to me here this morning in just a couple of minutes. But first, we got to do our first look. We're 5 minutes late already. One of these days, huh? One of these days. Montecillo Tyron now with news from the Guam Daily Post.
You might see a long line of traffic this morning along Chelan, San Antonio as public health resumes their mass testing for COVID-19. They'll be at the Tumuning Elementary School from 9 to noon. 8 new cases of COVID-19 were reported yesterday, but the majority of those, they say, had recent travel and were identified while in quarantine. This brings the total count of COVID-19 cases on Guam to 327 since the testing started back in March. New requirements for displaced workers who are receiving unemployment benefits now that the island's in PCOR 3, they'll need to be looking for a job or they could lose their benefits. The Department of Labor says the requirement is that they make at least 3 contacts every week, and the job search is part of the eligibility guidelines that the Department of Labor issued. Meanwhile, Labor will be putting out the 5th batch of payments to include paper checks this week. The next payments will be released next week. And Revenue Tax also issuing 1,500 tax refunds this week. They say it's worth $5.3 million. It covers tax returns up to January 31st. And Congress is expected to vote on the Defense Authorization Act, and included in that is a provision that would allow H-2B labor for civilian projects on Guam. Currently, H-2B labor has been limited primarily to military projects. The amendment was included in the NDAA by Guam Congressman Mike San Nicolas. And those are your headlines from the Guam Daily Post. For more on these stories, you can pick up a copy of the paper, log on to their website at postguam.com.
Thanks, Monica Silva Tyron. 6:36 in the morning, and that's iConnect time. 8:36 is iConnect time, too, as well. I just want to make the distinction. I called it out wrong. But anyway, 6:37 is iConnect time. Go to iConnect. They've got one over at the Micronesia Mall. If you've got a plant that you're not happy with, bring it to them, and they'll say, oh, we can do better than that, and they will. 888-8888 starts with a phone call to iConnect.
GRMC's cardiology department treats most complex heart problems. In our catheterization lab, cardiologists use imaging equipment to treat clogged arteries that can cause heart attacks or heart failure. We perform balloon angioplasty, stenting, and other life-saving cardiac procedures. If you suffer from a heart condition, have your provider refer you to GRMC's cardiology clinic at 645-5500. GRMC, where patients are partners.
Portions of the Ray Gibson Show being brought to you by American President Lines, APL Global Presence with a local home. Also being brought to you by Subway, home of the foot-long. Buy a foot-long at the regular price. Get another one for just $5. And yeah, you can do this with the delivery option that Subway has with Good to Go. Again, you get a foot-long and get another one for just $5 at Subway, 638.
Is your company providing the best management practices to create a safe workplace? Injuries could cost you a great deal of financial stress. OSH Solutions offers safety training and consultation services including OSHA, USDOT Hazmat, CPR, and forklifts that meet or exceed expectations. They provide on-site consultation support to companies in construction and general industries. Safeguard your business with OSH Solutions today. Call 969-0734.
All right, time to take a look at the traffic gizmo. Let me share my screen with you so you can see what's going on. That area up there is Anderson Air Force Base. We've got Marine Corps Drive. As you get closer and closer to the gate, you start meeting more and more traffic through there. Is that where the parade is? We didn't get the parade on Marine Corps Drive yesterday. Apparently, we've got one over by Anderson Air Force Base. Expect a few delays as you're making your way through there. Doesn't seem to be a whole lot of other traffic that you're going to run into, but this is kind of an anomaly. A little bit early for things to be as busy as they are over by where's this? You know where that is? That is intersection. You got McDonald's at the intersection. You got Bank of Guam at the other intersection. This will take you into Cost You Less and the Infusion drive-thru and Compadres Mall. Is it possible that this is the line of people? There's already a line of people trying to get into Compadres Mall for Fortune Bingo. Fortune Bingo is back, ladies and gentlemen. Bingo is back. We're at PCOR 3, and that means that Nana's got someplace to go and blow a couple of dollars and perhaps make all kinds of big dollars. As I say, Bingo is back. We'll riff on that in a little bit, but I did want to highlight that. Expect some delays. It looks like traffic was moving in both directions through there. Regular traffic, Marine Corps Drive southbound, not so bad. Traffic over by the Guam International Airport, making your way over to Home Depot. That looks like it's running a little bit busy. Let me scooch out here and see what Route 8 is looking like. You know, I started counting yesterday as I was headed towards Lumpia House. I was starting to count the number of lights from Marine Corps Drive 1 and 8. I was counting the number of lights. And frankly, by the time I got to Payless, I lost count.
I think it's 9.
Is it?
Yep.
It's a lot of intersection for like 2 miles, isn't it?
Yep.
Anyway. You know, it's not a Ray Gibson show unless Mon and I get to bellyache about that at least once. And don't see anything over by Big Navy and Sumai. I know it's a lot of traffic, but it gives me an opportunity to get kind of a high-altitude view of what's happening on the roads of Guam, and happy to share it with you here on The Point.
Woo-wee! Just take a gander at them tender and juicy fall-off-the-bone St. Louis ribs. Heavens to Betsy! What is their secret? It's bursting with so much flavor. I can eat that all day long. Come see for yourself, y'all. These fine slabs of hunky-dory, mouth-watering ribs are only available at Circle K. Circle K. Take it easy.
Real Talk Radio is back. Welcome to The Point, Guam's FM News Talk Superstation.
So I told you guys last week, a couple of weeks ago, I got this hair shampoo and conditioner, and you're supposed to leave it in your, and there's a little spray thing. You're supposed to leave it in your scalp, and it's supposed to prevent or enhance. Because I know it's not supposed to speed up male pattern baldness, right? Hey, good morning, Si. But anyway, so I've been working it out, and I need a haircut, so I'm not sure what it's going to be like until I actually get my haircut. But that's Plan A. Plan A is to have this stuff that I had a girl sell to me online to see if it would slow the male pattern baldness that I'm getting in my hair. You know what Plan B is? Anybody?
What's Plan B?
Go for the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson
Sean
style.
Connery.
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery. I didn't realize this until I was doing some research. Because I am that vain. I actually did research.
Is that Sean Connery or St. Jude?
King Richard from what is that? Prince. That's from the movie. Anyway, no, it's the guy Sean Connery. A lot of people don't realize this, or didn't unless they're vain like me and did the research. Is that even in the James Bond movies, those are wigs. He had wigs on. They fitted his head with some kind of hair pieces so that it could be in the thing. Otherwise, he's got hair like real Joe Cruz.
Yes, sir.
Just got the shiny spot on top. So I was thinking, okay, maybe there's a lot. I'm not suggesting by any stretch that I'm as good looking, debonair, cavalier, and dangerous as Sean Connery. But like I said, it's important to have some kind of a plan B. 6:43 in the morning. And you're wondering, Ray. You've been on the air now for 40-some-odd minutes on the program, and we have no idea what it is that you're going to be talking about today. Please, pray tell, Ray, what is on the table of contents? What is it that is going to be the big deal here today? Well, we've got where do you want to start at? Did you want to start at political gossip? You want to do that? So everybody was thinking, hey, that audit that B.J. Cruz put out last week, that was a hit piece from a senior Democratic guy in the OPA's office against Joanne Brown, downtown Joanne Brown, when she was over at the port. And now there's a conversation about maybe there's a ethics questionable an ethics call from Ray Tapazna, who was not at the actual hearing, right? He was not the subject.
Well, I didn't see the hearing, so I'm only going off of what the Post is reporting.
Okay, that's in today's Post, right?
You're right.
All right. So what the ethics complaint filed against the senator. Ray Tapazna files an ethics complaint because Tello Taitigui was at a confirmation hearing for what's the lady's name?
Anisha Delia.
Anisha Delia, and Anisha Delia is looking for a board position over at the Guam Housing Gura.
Gura.
Okay, so she's talking about being on the board over at Gura, and Tello said something about. She should be prepared for the good and the ugly and everything in between.
Yeah, let me pull up this story.
Yeah, well, I want to see what's going on here.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the remarks
so
were.
So he feels like it's some kind of a defamatory statement
against him, basically saying that she had served in the previous administration, and she understood that he had filed a complaint against the previous Gura board.
That's an understatement.
So
he took him to court.
Yeah, and so the charge is that do you really want this position because Ray's might sue you? Is I think the way I read it.
I think this is the quote. I'm saying this as a friend. I suggest you look into that because if you do become a member of this board. And if you're going to be a part of a lawsuit, then you might rethink that. I hope that you do read up on what has been going on at Gura in the last year and a half before you make this decision, Taitigui said during the hearing. So Ray Tapazna takes offense to that and now has apparently filed an ethics complaint against Tello Taitigui. Now, how much of that, is there a lot of different ways that we can think about this story? Number one, because it's in me, how much of that is just political gossip? Ray Tapazna and Tello and Eddie Calvo and the whole last administration, how much of that might be a holdover from the last administration, and just an opportunity maybe for Ray to reach out from beyond that grave and saying, okay, you better watch out, Tello, because you can't be making statements like that. Otherwise, I'm going to call you in on an ethics complaint, and none of the Republicans are going to vote for you. and you won't get any support from the Democrats. Is that maybe one way that we can look at it?
You can look at it that way, but you could also look at it as, these senators, sometimes when it comes to a public hearing and it comes to appointments and boards, a lot of folks are reserved or reluctant to join these boards and commissions because they don't want to
because
go to
they have to go before the legislature.
Because the legislature really takes the opportunity to badger them. And I've seen it happen even in the previous administration and previous legislatures. And so you just have to kind of hold these guys to some decorum when they're in the public hearing.
Well, I think Cousin Troy over at Ding Tedinko's hearing, I think he set a whole new standard for what is and what is not decorum over at the legislature. Morning, Cuz. Good to have you there. But there is that to be considered. There is that to be considered. I cannot tell you, and again, it's vanity, and it's a big number. How many times I'd been asked to sit. I need you to sit on this board, Ray. I think you do great on that board. I think you got the experience to be able to do something with it, and yada yada yada. Okay, what's required? Well, you got to put financial statements together. You got to bid this paperwork, that paperwork, get everything for the committee, and then you have to go before the legislature. And then
it stops there,
stop right there. There are no further words that can come out of your mouth that will convince me to get in front of that 15 bunch of jackals. And there, it doesn't matter which administration, what number legislature we're talking about. As far as I was concerned, there's no way that I could guarantee the outcome of that board hearing. So I'm just not going to go. I'm just not going to go. So there's and maybe
that's his point.
Right.
He says, with comments like that and statements that you make like that, or bullying tactics, or however you want to look at it, you're going to make it difficult or make it an undesirable position for the average person, because you don't want to go to the legislature and have to endure any sort of
grilling. Yeah. I don't disagree with that, and I don't know. I'm of two minds here. I think one of the issues that we have, one of the problems that we have right now, is we can trade out, as we have, everybody over at the governor's office, and we take a look at the 35th Guam legislature versus the 34th Guam legislature. Sorry, I said 35th Guam legislature without the hashtag. Dumbest bunch ever. I'll never do that again. But anyway, you take a look at them, and the differences between the two of them are kind of staggering in terms of who's there, who's not there. But it doesn't matter who gets into these elected positions. It seems that you take a look at boards and commissions here on Guam, and they're basically very much all the same people, aren't they? They just go, people go from one to another to another to another, and everybody, we all talk about how it is that we want some change in the government, but it's hard to get to when we just take the same bunch of people and put them in a variety of different commissions. And
I think they change with the administration, so there's a whole bunch of new faces that in the boards and commissions because it's a whole new administration.
I'll put together a list one of these days and show you. 649-888-8255 is the telephone number around here. Oh! He's back. Ladies and gentlemen, the other Governor Leon Guerrero. That would be Ken Leon Guerrero. Good morning, buddy.
Good morning.
Viva Liberacion.
Yes. But your topic grabbed me this morning.
That's the idea.
First of all.
That's the idea, is to grab you by the ears.
First of all, I submitted documents to the public auditor back in 2019, March or April. I submitted them to the Attorney General's office back in March and April, and I even submitted them to different different senators that were sitting on the oversights as well. So this is not something, the theoretical hit on Joanne Brown is not something that just happened. This is something that came about as research, because I submitted documentation on Rory Respicio, Joanne Brown, Tom Adda, PUC people, and also Angel Sablan, because it was all the same pattern, excessive pay raises without public oversight. That's why.
And that was the point that BJ was making in his response to the Daily Post the other day. Was, wait a second, to take a look at your own newspapers. Everybody got their knickers in a knot when the announcement of the pay raises came out over at GPA and GWA with JB and Mike and Miguel. And so everybody says the OPA's got to look into this. The OPA's got to look into it, and he did. And he came out with a report about here's one on the port, by the way. And maybe I don't know, maybe the time. Some people could say the timing is suspect, but it's based on things that we actually asked the public auditor to do.
Yeah, and it goes back to the fact that that it wasn't just me. Other people submitted this information. Even Troy submitted the information as well back in the first quarter of 2019. So this didn't just happen overnight. The timing wasn't suspicious because Joanne wasn't even on the radar for running for office back in March, April of 2019.
I don't think that. I didn't
place.
think that started off until. I don't think that started up until after she was seen over at the same Republican Party we had over at the Doucet back in January, February. I think that was the first time that I'd heard that she had any inkling to run for public office. So I don't disagree with you, and I don't disagree with BJ on this, but I will agree that it provides some grist for the, as John Anderson used to call it, the talk radio mill. This town thrives on political gossip. So you start making connections and drawing whatever inference you want to on a dust-up between Rachel Posner over at Gura and Tello Taitagui at the legislature. Go for it. It just give you something to talk about, right?
Yeah, I've been waiting for the Ethics Commission to finally stand up because the first complaint I was going to make was against Rachel Posner. So, I find this ironic, and I don't see the legislature acting because I still got 2 ethics complaints against sitting senators, and the legislature still hasn't acted on them, although I've been assured by the Speaker that they will be handled in a prompt and diligent manner.
All right. Well, I've got
and these are from last year.
Yeah. I got a direct message from a friend, and I'm not going to tell you who it is that he's referring to, but he said so-and-so is a narcissist and a lowlife. So it could be either one of them, maybe both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. The anonymous trolls abound.
This one is not anonymous. It's in my direct message, so it's not like just somebody that floated in there. It's somebody I know and whose opinion I hold in very, very high regard. 6:53 in the morning. All right, what else is on your radar? It's got to be something besides this.
Well, obviously the vote on 375. Liberation Day was a perfect example. I was driving into town and I videoed. There was no activity. I even went down to Epau Beach, and Epau Beach was practically deserted. So here we have the government who is still enforcing all these restrictions and stuff, and their justification is you can go to Home Depot, you can go to Payless. Well, 40,000 people don't go to Home Depot and Payless in one day. And so, that whole argument of theirs is bogus. We either are going to enforce it or we're not going to enforce it. And here we're going to take, 25 to 35,000 people and force them into a high contact, high risk situation. We know that the majority of them are going to be seniors and also people with high risk, with different health ailments.
Well, I have
force them through the sausage machine.
I have not yet read the as-passed version of Tinkerbell's 330.
Well, you can, starting on the 30th, go to Guam Election Commission. Now, I asked Marie how that's going to work because, they only have so many people, and they're only going to use it at the office. And her thing is that they're going to have people call and make appointments. Well, what if 10,000 people want to go? So I assumed, just playing with the math, I'm still waiting for her to get back to me, so this is just my assumption, that if we see 4 people, she says it's going to take 20 minutes for each one. So if we saw 4 people every 20 minutes, that's 16 people an hour. So 16 people an hour times 8 hours a day. And if we did it every day, it comes up to 2,558 people are going to be able to vote absentee. 2,558. What if there's more than 2,558 people that want to vote for it? The absentee. So you see, there's some problems there that still have to be worked out. They still don't have enough people to man the polling stations. So where's she going to get people to man the polling stations and open up the voting?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, these are things that are- she's working
Same mentality. Same mentality. We've got there's a bunch of Zoom meetings that are going on, you know, for education, where they're getting all the parents of the northern, central, and southern schools together on a Zoom meeting to talk about putting kids back in school. So if it's so dangerous for us to get together that we can't have a town hall, but we're talking about the possibility of putting a whole bunch of kids and teachers and staff back into school. Maybe there's something there. Yeah, but I'm not going to make too big a deal about it because I'm on the side of conventional wisdom that says little kids don't get sick. Virtually many other countries around the world have sent their kids back to same old traditional school and with attempts at social distancing and masks and plastic barriers, and they're not running into any problems. So it seems to me that the United States of America ought to be able to do it the same way as well. Or we'll see if there's something new we can learn from the Satanic Temple.
Well, you know, bringing this full circle back to what started off the conversation, you know, we have a very, very interesting political season developing because we have a situation where political candidates are going to be forced to campaign differently than they've ever campaigned before because we still can't have the mass meetings and things like that, although you can theoretically now have up to 50 people together.
No, it sucks. You still can't do it. Look, PCOR 3 didn't do anything it didn't raise my skirt here. You know, it's all the same places that I like to go. It's exactly the same as it was before we went into PCOR 3. And I'd asked a question online, and it actually got a lot of responses from people, which is when can we dance again? When did that become a, you know, I know it's certainly a non-essential activity, but a lot of clubs and businesses would like to reopen, put a band or a DJ up on the stage and get people wiggling. And
that's one of the
do
things.
that.
That's one of the things I think was all wrong about the administration's approach because they're worried too much about restarting tourism, but not enough about restarting the local economy because every study I've looked at right now says it's going to take, you know, till 2023 before the tourism industry as a whole stands up to the pre-COVID levels. But she shut down the local economy as well. And, you know, the local economy could have helped supported a lot of these businesses, but you drive around now, you look at how many empty storefronts there are, how many for lease signs are up and stuff like that. So our small businesses here on Guam took a big hit.
Unnecessarily.
They didn't have to.
I think you're right. Because, if masks work, then why do we shut everything down? If masks don't work, then why do we have to wear them? 6:59. Ken, I got to let you run. I'll talk to you later. 888-8255-888-TALK. For those of you that are wondering, well, it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to, you know, hang on to my PUAs forever, and the PPP from the boss is running out. What am I going to do for cash? Bingo is back, baby. I know that Pangasinan is open. I think they had their first one the other night or last night. Fortune Bingo out at Compadres Mall is going to be open. What have we got here? Coverall jackpot, 50 numbers or less. It's not impossible. It's just unlikely. But 50 numbers or less could get you $10,000. They've got a progressive coverall, 46 numbers or less, another $10,000. How about this one? This is an easy game, right? The letter X, if you can get the letter X in 14 numbers or less, that's $3,000. Now, I don't know what I suppose everybody got to wear a mask and you got to do social distancing, etc. But bingo is back, baby, over at Fortune Bingo. Go, Grandma, go. 7 o'clock, time for news.
The briefings are back. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Trump set to resume coronavirus briefings at the White House at this hour. He wants to focus in part on positive news, work on a vaccine and therapeutics, while the search continues on Capitol Hill for another relief package.
I won't put a bill on the floor that doesn't have liability protection in it.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell also looking to at least reduce the enhanced unemployment benefit that's paying some people more to stay home than to go back to work. And the president is still pushing for a payroll tax cut. Different priorities than a $3 trillion plan already passed in the House. Joe Biden taking more swings at the president's virus response.
This man simply doesn't understand. He can't deal with our economic crisis without serving and saving and solving the public health crisis.
While unveiling another part of his economic recovery plan. It calls for more preschool and child care and a raise for early childhood educators and home health workers, paid for in part by raising taxes on wealthier Americans. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi vows a vigorous fight against the president's latest move related to the census, calling it unconstitutional.
The president signing a memorandum to exclude undocumented immigrants from being counted when the government divides up congressional seats as part of the census. The president saying in a statement his administration will not support giving congressional representation to aliens who enter or remain in the country unlawfully. But a 5-4 U.S. Supreme Court decision in 2019 makes it impossible as a practical matter to include a citizenship question on the 2020 census. That decision makes it difficult to accurately determine the number of non-citizens in the country and, as a result, administer the president's action.
Fox's John Decker in Washington. America is listening to Fox News.
Hofady, this is Kayla from APL Guam. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated team in Guam and the U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit apl.com.
Woo-wee! Just take a gander at them tender and juicy fall-off-the-bone St. Louis ribs. Heavens to Betsy! What is their secret? It's bursting with so much flavor, I can eat them all day long. Come see for yourself, y'all. These fine slabs of hunky-dory, mouth-watering ribs are only available at Circle K. Circle K. Take it easy.
The Missouri Attorney General wants charges dropped for the St. Louis couple now facing felony counts after brandishing guns outside their mansion while telling Black Lives Matter protesters to go.
Mark and Patricia McCloskey are charged with a felony unlawful use of a weapon. The St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kimberly M. Gardner writes in part, quote, "It is illegal to wave weapons in a threatening manner at those participating in a nonviolent protest. And while we are fortunate this situation did not escalate into deadly force, this type of conduct is unacceptable in St. Louis." Gardner says she brought charges after a thorough investigation by police, but an attorney for the couple says no crime was committed. Mark McCloskey tells Fox News he was advised to film protesters with his cell phone instead of taking out his guns, but he asks how that would help if hundreds of people broke into his home.
Fox's Matt Finn. The protesters were on their way to the mayor's home at the time. The Missouri governor has already said he would pardon the couple if they're tried and convicted. China's government being accused by U.S. prosecutors of protecting a long-running hacking scheme, including recent efforts to steal research on a coronavirus vaccine.
The Justice Department charged 2 Chinese men, accusing them of stealing hundreds of millions of dollars worth of technology over 10 years from multiple companies across the tech sector, including those working on virus vaccine research. Assistant Attorney General of National Security John Demers says the industries targeted are the same ones outlined in China's own Made in China 2025 plan.
While the plan calls for an innovation-driven approach, cases like this one show it is as much a roadmap to theft as it is a guide to innovation.
The hackers were first detected after targeting a U.S. Department of Energy network in Hanford, Washington, but Demers says they've hacked companies and NGOs all over the world. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
The Dow's been up over 100 points heading into the close. I'm Lisa Brady, and this is Fox News.
Are you fed up with those long bank lines? Do you wish you had a bank who gave you faster service? Well, by enrolling in Bank Pacific's new mobile app, you don't even need to wait in line. But even if you do want to come down in person, we're more than happy to see your smiling face, as long as you have a mask. Because our service is so good, we don't believe in lines. Because for 66 years, we've been making sure you get the service you deserve. Because where others put branches, we place roots. And we're rooting for you. Member FDIC.
GRMC's Neuroscience and Neurology Department treats a wide spectrum of disorders associated with the nervous system, spine, and brain. Some of the more common disorders include seizures, epilepsy, dementia, sleep disorders, migraine, and stroke, which is one of the leading causes of death on Guam. GRMC's neuroscience team is equipped with the latest technology and the finest neurological doctors. To To make an appointment, contact GRMC Specialty Clinics at 645-5500.
Wow, nice smile. So perfect and all.
Thanks. I owe it all to Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile Team. They do wonders for a healthy, happy mouth.
Got teeth? Don't wait until they hurt. Schedule your routine checkup and cleaning with Dr. Yang and his Smile Team. Suite 119 in the East West Business Center, Upper Tumon. Call 647-8702 or 3.
The best thing that happened to teeth since toothpaste.
Dr. Yang and his Smile Team.
They make smiles happen.
Today at 7:06, I'm Mona Silva Tyron with a look at your local news from the Guam Daily Post. The jury will begin deliberations today in the Brandon Acosta trial. Acosta faces a maximum sentence of life in prison for the murder and rape of 15-year-old Tamika Nauta. Closing arguments were held Monday with the prosecuting attorney Leonardo Rapadas asking the jury to find Acosta guilty. He's charged 4 times with aggravated murder, 3 times with murder, twice for first and second and third degree criminal sexual conduct, and home invasion, aggravated assault, and burglary. These charges include a special allegation of possession and use of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony and notice of commission of a felony while on felony release. Acosta's trial continues today with jury deliberations. A man accused of an attack involving a spear was arrested again over the weekend in an alleged stabbing. 38-year-old Kek Ludwig was charged with family violence as a third-degree felony and aggravated assault as a third-degree felony. The charges include a special allegation of possession or use of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony. According to court documents, Ludwig was arguing with a woman known to him when he stabbed her with a knife. The woman was later treated by medics at the scene. Ludwig allegedly denied stabbing the woman, claiming that he saw a child hit her with a hanger, which caused the injury. Police also noticed other injuries on the woman. It was just last May that Ludwig was arrested after attacking a man with a spear in the Tumuning area. 8 new cases of COVID-19 were reported yesterday, but the majority of those had recent travel and were identified while in quarantine. Public Health says 87 cases remain active. As of Monday, 5 patients were in isolation at the hospital. Meanwhile, Public Health will be doing a mass testing today at the Tumuning Elementary School, and then tomorrow they'll be at the Asan Maina Mayor's office. Testing will be conducted from 9 a.m. until noon, and the testing is free. Anyone experiencing symptoms consistent with COVID-19 are asked to call their healthcare provider. We'll have more news right after this.
GPSI Guam is a professional technical services company that is a registered contractor for the federal government. They're SBA approved, 8A, and HubZone certified, providing program and project management, administration, technical support, logistics, and commodities. Find out more about GPSI and how they can help you today. Contact GPSI if you need assistance in meeting your small business subcontracting goals at 671-477-3058. They'll be happy to assist.
Congress is expected to vote on the National Defense Authorization Act, and included in that is an amendment that will extend H-2B exemptions to civilian projects throughout Guam. The amendment, included by Guam Congressman Mike Sinichlis, says as the Guam Economic Development Authority has estimated up to $1 billion in canceled or delayed private sector projects because of the lack of skilled laborers. The NDAA is expected to pass the House and then will be sent to the Senate for a vote. Well, since the island's been placed in PCOR 3 on Monday, there are new requirements for displaced workers who've been receiving unemployment benefits or who are set to receive those benefits. They'll need to start looking for a job or they could lose the benefits that they are availing themselves to. The requirement is that they make at least 3 contacts every week. The job search is part of the eligibility guidelines that the Department of Labor had issued for the federally funded unemployment benefit programs. Those programs have allowed displaced workers to receive up to $945 a week. The individuals will need also to keep a record of all the work search contacts that they've made and submit those when requested. The island's been in PCOR 3 since Monday, and even as many COVID-related restrictions have been lifted over the last several weeks, there continues to be an increase in the number of displaced workers. The Department of Labor says Guam currently has 34,544 workers who have either been laid off, furloughed, or have had work hours reduced since March as a direct result of the COVID-19 pandemic. And those are your top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Ray with your weather. Oh, boy.
Again. I got it. It's like I got everything else. I just don't wait. Here. Sorry. Partly sunny with isolated showers. There's thunderstorms in the forecast this morning. Anybody hear anything yet? Any thunder
I
bumpers?
heard him
Yeah,
yesterday. My poor dogs were scared.
Put them inside. You're supposed to hug them.
Well, I did.
You're supposed to hug
did.
them. I think everybody knows. There's a Thunder Buddy thing, right? Isn't there like a blanket, like a coat that you can get the dogs?
Well, I put a towel on one of them, and then I was hugging the other two because you're cuter.
Yeah, southeast winds. Yeah, the real stinky outside dogs. We need to hug them. 10 to 15 miles an hour today from the southeast. Highs near 89 degrees. Partly cloudy with isolated showers in the forecast for tonight. Southeast winds again about 10 miles an hour, becoming light, and then overnight lows should be. Overnight lows should be about 80 degrees. I'm looking at 80, going, that's going to be low. Sounds like a warm night. Sunrise this morning was at 6:03. Sunset tonight is going to be at 6:51. Hashtag tell the others. It's 7:11 in the morning, and that's news and weather together on The Point.
Is your company providing the best management practices to create a safe workplace? Injuries could cost you a great deal of financial stress. OSH Solutions offers safety training and consultation services including OSHA, USDOT Hazmat, CPR, and forklifts that meet or exceed expectations. They provide on-site consultation support to companies in construction and general industries. Safeguard your business with OSH Solutions today. Call 969-0734.
Docomo Pacific Business presents the Work Better Together webinar series. Session 1's topic is Reconnecting Guam, Tourism's Path Forward. This free webinar will feature industry experts in tourism and technology sharing the latest information on the future of tourism in Asia Pacific. Join this 2-hour online event on July 29th at 10 a.m. Register for free at docomopacific.eventbrite.com. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
I think I might go to that. 7:12 in the morning, and portions of the program brought to you by Mount Carmel School. Their preschool, kindergarten, elementary, and middle school classes are all set to reopen next month. Accredited teams recently awarded MCS the highest scores in max 6-year term possible. MCS academics and programs continue to win awards on Guam and other places, too. Register your kids today and enjoy the best in-classroom or distance learning possible. After-school programs are available. 565-5128. I'd like to say thanks very much to folks over at KFC helping me help them celebrate their anniversary. It's 45 years on Guam, and they got a great package waiting for you. 10-piece family meal. You get 10 pieces of chicken, 3 large sides, 4 biscuits, and a box of macadamia nut chocolate. Call them 300-FAST for delivery. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Any speaker, anytime. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The reason why I didn't have the weather handy is I was reading through something over the newscast. A story by a guy named John Caves, opinion contributor for, one of these online magazine. In the debate over statehood for Washington, which there was a conversation about statehood for Washington. I don't know if it turned into a debate. It started in the House and had absolutely no chance of going anywhere in the Senate. But he says, that being said, maybe we ought to consider representation for U.S. territories. Well, this will be an interesting read. The guy goes through a little bit of the history back and forth about all the different territories that we have, and even quotes a whole bunch of the founding fathers and taxation without representation and all of this other stuff. And then he says, well, what we ought to do here's my idea. We might consider a constitutional amendment that would give those 4 territories, Guam, et cetera, a voting delegation in the House. A delegation would have 1 vote, as the smallest states do. A number of delegates would be elected to it from each territory in proportion to the population, and the delegation would hold an internal ballot to decide how to cast its congressional vote. Well, we've already got guys in the House. So, in fact, Mike Sinicolas is standing by. So anyway, I was reading this after I decided I wasn't going to talk about it too much. I thought I'd leave it on the side for Bob Klitsky so that he could take a look at it and grind his teeth on it. Because my guess is he would probably see 100 different things wrong with the idea of statehood for Washington D.C. and then how to have that conversation for Guam. So, Real Joe, I'm going to leave this for the judge, right, if you don't mind passing that along to him. But speaking of Congress, Congressman Mike Sinicolas standing by at some point. I don't know when the vote is going to be on the NDAA. We're told that after all of the committee work, after all the back and forth, Guam and the exemption from H-2B so that we could have H-2B labor working on civilian contracts is in the bill that the House is going to vote on today. I don't know when the vote is going to take place. I said, dude, the second that we've got an actual number on this, call in, let me know what happens. I said, wherever we are in the program, we'll drop it and go directly to you. So he sent me the 2 thumbs up that I was looking for. One of them was the thumbs up emoji, and then the other one is the praying hands emoji. Now, is that praying hands, praying it goes our way, or is that just another way of saying thank you?
I was told that actually is a high five, but I don't know.
There's what?
It's a high five.
On Guam, we turned it into praying.
I thought it was praying.
Yeah.
I thought it was
supposed to be high five.
It's a high five, right?
The highest of high five.
The emoji version of I don't know, SYM, which is another thing. Speaking of, if you've been getting that in your feeds, you'll be, if somebody sends you something and it just, you get one answer with SYM.
Yeah.
What is that? What is the SYM? Thank you very much. I guess I was the last one to get that. I'm
and
sure
you know what BP is, right? Buen Pabetsu. For real. You haven't heard that?
No. A special group you hang out with on your WhatsApps. Then there's another one. You see this online every once in a while. ICYMI. In case you missed it.
Oh.
I'd never known what that was. It's just a weird kind of thing.
In tomorrow?
In case you missed it. You never pay any attention. The computers are weird. The social media is weird. I posted this up online yesterday. I was waiting for the what do you call it, Lumpia to come out over at Lumpia House. And when they say 15 minutes, they really mean 25. just put that out there. So I'm cruising through Twitter, and Twitter, like everything else, gives you. We think you should follow these people. We think that your feed would be more complete if you followed these people. And the people they suggested that I follow are Jim Acosta, who, as far as I'm concerned, is an enemy of the state for working over at CNN. So I wasn't going to follow him. The next one was Joe Biden.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would follow him just
Presumptive.
because he's entertaining.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And the third, and I thought this was kind of interesting, was Kelly Marsh Titano. Sorry, I don't have the syntax right, but they wanted me to follow Kelly Marsh Titano as well. And I thought, what kind of crazy algorithms?
No. The algorithm, it's artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
They have picked up on that you have liberal leanings, and something in there they picked up on. You can't deny it. Twitter is infallible. Twitter finds things out about you, Ray.
Is that possible? Is that it could be? Hold on a second, Real Joe. I'm going to need audio up on the system. This might be, as far as some people is concerned, the biggest insult of all time.
What's wrong?
Daddy, Democrat.
What?
Daddy,
What?
He called me a Democrat.
Are you serious?
Daddy called me a Democrat. I just start crying. That's just so funny. 7:19 in the morning.
I got a feeling we're going to see more of that.
It's possible. I was done with the break, right? Or I got to do. There are more commercials.
We got business report. Yeah.
Oh, did we come out? Oh, we did come out of everything, right?
Yeah.
I just never sure where I'm at.
Nothing's going to top Daddy called me a Democrat. Blow off the business report. You don't need it anymore.
Why not? All right, fine. We'll take a look at what happened on the market. I wasn't really paying attention. Now, crazy as it might seem, there's no Liberation Day holiday in the States, so we've actually got actual market numbers from Wall Street here this morning. The S&P 500, 3257. They picked up 5 points. NASDAQ at 10,680. They're off by about 86 points. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average had a decent day, up about 160 points. They closed at 26,840. All of the rest of the markets are in the green right now. FTSE plus 8. The Nikkei, 166 points higher. They closed at 22,884. Hang Seng up by almost 600, 577 points in the green for that market. To close 25,635. Shanghai up by a hair. It's hardly worth giving you the numbers. And the DAX is up by 124 points. And not a bad day on the markets. As far as the commodities are concerned, we generally only look at two of them, although Smug Wimp from time to time says, hey, have you seen what gold is up to? Today is one of those days where Smug would say, have you seen what gold is up to? Picked up $25.
Oh,
that's not bad for gold. Usually, it's little tiny increments up and down.
That's like 3%.
It's about 1.42% is what they're calling percentage change. But still, it's a big deal.
Okay, yeah.
A few months back, that would have been a 3% increase, but it has increased in value with the
it was
pandemic.
18. That's right. Yeah.
1843 is where gold is trading at right now. So we're watching that number go up. Not a bad day for silver either. Picked up $1.50. Now with the ounce of silver is 21 whole dollars, almost 22 whole dollars for an ounce of silver. So it might be time to start looking for that kind of thing. I'm not going to say to add it to your portfolio. Get the stuff in hand. Get the stuff in hand. You look when the
chains, right?
When the bullets start flying, there's a bright flash up in the sky. All of that stuff. You know what's going to be. You know what you'll be able to trade things. You'll be able to trade members of your family, good drinking water, clean drinking water,
betel
nut, and gold and silver. Actual gold and silver. You can't go and say, "Here's a piece of paper. This represents some gold and silver that I own. It's in a safe in New York." Right, you're going to want to have the gold and silver on you. So that's ponder that as you make your way through today. The other commodities are what happens in the world of oil and West Texas crude. On Monday, when we were all last dancing together, was $40.59. Today, $41.76. So up for West Texas crude. We've also got some up movement on Tappas. Tappas was $44.02 on Monday.
Oh.
$44.04 today.
Ooh.
I'd start lining up at the gas station now. Whatever the prices were, with a 2-cent increase in the price of a barrel of Tappas.
You think there'd be a post-liberation twitch on the part of the gasoline?
Little bubble. We'll see.
Be, huh?
I don't know. The 76 Circle K in particular probably should not have a problem getting customers in.
Because
he's always, he knows what to do. Because at 76 Circle K, they have re-inaugurated their coffee cup program for the elections. We've got the elections are coming up, right? Now, there's a lackluster...
Maybe.
We'll see what Maria Pangilinan says. No, in the United States, the elections are coming up. So the same way we were talking about Joe Biden a second ago, the presumptive Democratic nominee. So they have got, at 76 Circle K, they've got Joe Biden coffee cups. And they have Donald Trump coffee cups.
That's how they're voting?
They've been doing this like that for years over
it now.
Yeah, they've been doing that. Well, I mean, a couple of years ago, in the election, they had. I want to say they had 3 cups. They had Frank's and Lou's and who was the other one? Who did Lou run against? No, Frank. Ray Tenorio.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry, Ray.
Already a footnote.
Ow.
Ouch. All right, so they had 3 coffee cups last year. Obviously, we don't have any big local races going on, so the big deal is Biden versus Trump, and I think that starts today over at 76 Circle K.
Really?
So they will keep track of this, and on a regular basis, as they say in the government, going forward basis, they will take out ads and announcements that say who's ahead in what race. So when you buy your coffee, figure out whether you want Joe Biden coffee or whether you want Donald Trump coffee. And we'll keep track of all of that for you. A couple of interesting businessy things for you. Tomorrow is Thursday. For those of you going, no, because today's Monday. How can tomorrow be Thursday?
Whoa.
That's Wednesday. Tomorrow, marketing to the federal government. This is Boris's Zoom thing going on. The government buys products and services, yada, yada, yada. Guam PTAC will discuss marketing strategies, essential documents, and how to get your company, quote, on the list to market to the federal government. Palau. And I wanted to mention this story last week because I thought it was interesting. About, 3-4 weeks ago, they had a big repatriation set of flights that came in with people. Apparently, they didn't get all of them. So now they've got another one. Palau has scheduled another flight tomorrow from Guam to repatriate its nationals and residents stranded abroad, especially from the United States. And to speed up the process, the nation is planning to bring home a larger number of passengers this time. Old Kirill Kazuo from the press secretary in an interview said that while the list has not been finalized, there were about 87 who wanted to travel on this month's flight. Second flight will almost double in passenger numbers compared to the first batch of repatriated nationals and residents in June. And they're referring to it as successful. Apparently, everybody that they brought in, as it turns out, turned to be coronavirus free. So they're looking forward to doing that again. Another charter flight that's going to be taking place between here back to Palau, repatriating some Palauan nationals.
Is the Palau government paying for those flights, those tickets, or individuals paying for them?
You know what? I don't know. Yoichi Rangil is my go-to guy for what happens. I couldn't tell you what's going on with that particular, how the money is getting paid. But there are people that need to get back back in. What's interesting is the different levels, the various stratas of quarantine that these people had to go through. So 14 days before they even get on that plane, 14 days at a government quarantine, quote, facility, and then 14 days of home stay. Yeah. Ouch. Can you imagine? And you're pretty much locked down anyway. I mean, you go. This is Jerry's thing. He's a virtual lockdown. He comes in here, does this thing in the morning, and then you go back home, don't you?
Pretty much.
Yeah. What'd you do yesterday? Anything?
Yeah.
How was the parade?
Parade was great. Actually, we had a little celebration. My wife's birthday is Liberation Day.
I didn't know that.
There's an old story in the family. She led the parade way back when in a certain year, and the ambulance with her and her mother actually led the parade.
Oh, my God.
Getting her to the hospital. That was it.
That is interesting.
She was the first float, as it were.
Oh, that's great. That's a great story. Well, happy belated birthday, and thanks. I'm glad I brought it up. Give you a chance to wish her a happy birthday and reminisce a little bit. It's 7:26 in the morning. It's time for Jerry Robertson, the Extra Point. We'll find out how on point. Now, You've been hitting home runs with the Extra Point in the last few days here.
Here comes the pressure. I'm not sure I can handle this.
They're new. Yeah, there's a new line, and it's way up from where it was before. So,
no.
Yeah, just a warning. We'll see what the conventional wisdom is. We'll see how everybody reacts here in a couple of minutes.
Calm my beating heart. Okay, here we go.
Jerry Robertson, the Extra Point, is brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and the team over at First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes.
It's question time. When do your good ideas come to you, and what are you doing when they come? Second question, how good are you at doing basically little or nothing? And when you do basically little or nothing, have you ever actually ended up doing something valuable? Today, let's talk about how to generate more good ideas. Today, on The Extra Point.
When's the last time you looked at your homeowner's insurance?
We buy a homeowner's policy and never give it another thought until something happens. Life brings changes, and our coverage needs can change. The smart thing to do is get the answers and level up our insurance to make sure we're totally protected.
That's the Insurance Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today by calling Guahan Insurance Services at 475-1162 or visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center in Tamuning.
By the way, Mr. Gibson, thank you for the kind words. Have you ever been involved in some mundane and repetitive task, something you could do in your sleep, as they say, and all of a sudden a burst of creativity comes your way? Have you ever struggled with a problem, and as much as you tried, you just couldn't figure out the solution? But you performed something you'd done 100 or 1,000 times before, something that didn't require much focus on to accomplish, and the answer just popped into your head? If your experience is like mine, you weren't trying to generate an idea or solution, but your mind wandered while you were involved with that repetitive task, operation, or movement. Then the creative flow began. Chris Bailey, author of the book Hyperfocus, How to Manage Your Attention in a World of Distraction, says we should think back to when our most brilliant insight struck us, and chances are we weren't focused on anything. Bailey coined the term scatter focus to describe the act of purposefully letting the mind wander, which makes us more creative and more productive, he says. Now, I've tackled a sink overflowing with dishes after a gathering, and within a few minutes, I hit this zone, for lack of a better term, zone. Thoughts begin to come. Sometimes it's random stuff, and other times it's focused on issues I'm working with. It might be an idea for something new I can offer in my business. It might be one of those what-if scenarios that I tend to like. I've heard authors and scriptwriters talk about ideas for books and movies. Inventors saw visions for new products. I also get it in the shower. The water could be slightly cool or slightly warm, but not to a temperature that would cause me to pay attention to it. I can stand there and have the water carom off my chest and be lost in thought. Sometimes a simple shower might last 20 or 30 minutes instead of the normal 5 or 10. Again, I'm not focusing any conscious attention on what I'm doing. Those dishes I mentioned get clean, but my mind is not occupied with the soap, the scrubber, or rinsing. All that is on autopilot. One incident I can relate is when I was in Seattle years ago helping my then 90-year-old father. After dropping someone off at the airport very early on a Sunday morning, I wanted to stop at a certain bakery on the way back to my dad's place. It was a 45-minute drive, and as soon as I hit the freeway, I was caught up in a foggy, gray Seattle mist that seemed to put an envelope around the car. Visibility was limited, but it wasn't a scary feeling. I put on a classical radio station, and the experience was one of almost complete isolation, though I knew I obviously wasn't alone on the freeway. In that 45 minutes, in that misty envelope of sorts, with the classical music playing, all kinds of ideas came forth. Somebody tried to explain it to me once. They said, when we override certain senses or disengage our active focus, our mind takes over and delivers information it knows we need. Now, I'm sure that's as simplistic as it gets, but I've seen it happen for me. I've had people tell me they get a flow of thoughts and ideas when bush cutting, paddling in a boat, running, walking, knitting, crocheting. This works when the body just seems to move on its own. Bailey cites studies that suggest whenever our mind is wandering, we think about the future about half the time. He also referenced the benefits of the shower, saying many of us plan our entire day or week or month or year or life while we're getting clean. We also like to think about our goals 14 times as often and become much more intentional. So what is it for you? What do you do to get into this creative zone? What activity is it that gets your inventive or problem-solving juices flowing? Do you need to be doing some more bush cutting or knitting or wash a bunch of dishes? Whatever it is, the fact that you may be able to program yourself to generate ideas on demand is pretty exciting. That's the Extra Point. Be responsible and make something good happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show, Guahan Insurance Services, and First Hawaiian Bank. I'm Jerry Roberts.
You know, a lot of the examples that you brought up to get into kind of that zone, they all feature something that you and I have talked about before, white noise.
Yeah.
There's some kind of white noise. The noise of the shower falling around you, the sound of the water blaster, the sound of the bush cutter, all of those kinds of things, lawnmower. And there's no information whatsoever. They get into your ears and they kind of take over, and you are free to think about. And that's the other thing about bush cutting and water blasting. There's really no skill required to do it. And you can see the progress as you go. So, and the same with the shower, no skill required. You just kind of do it. So it frees up your brain to do other things. When I was studying for my amateur extra class, my amateur extra test, and this is not an easy thing to do. And they don't hand out that license. And one of the things that I found helpful was I'd actually turn on my ham radio and just have it pick up static, just static from out in the ethers from wherever it comes from, and that helped me concentrate on what it was that I was talking about. And there's so many of these things that you can find all over the place where you can do other things while you're trying to absorb ideas, number one, or maybe you're trying to generate ideas.
I write maybe a third of the extra points. I will write, or when I have a column for the Post or something, I go online and I find one of these sites on YouTube that has 7 hours of piano music or classical or whatever it happens to be. I plug into that. It blocks out everything that's going on around me, and I'm able to just write and think because the music just blocks everything else and just gets me into that feeling.
All right, there's a couple of my Spotify playlists. I'll share the names with you. One of them is called Relaxing Massage, and basically it sounds like you ever step on an airplane and there's just kind of ambient music playing behind you. Just this thing, right, that's out there. Yeah. There's no real rhythm or pattern to it at all. It's just sounds. And it's very, very relaxing. The other one, and I found this over the weekend because it was Relaxing Massage turned out to be a little too relaxing, and instead of thinking, it put me to sleep. So I found this one. It's just called coding music, like writing code for software. Coding music. There's no lyrics. Medium tempo, so it's fairly upbeat, but kind of along the same thing, where we just got some beats off in the background, and we've got some different instruments playing at different tempos. So try some of that. Don't do it now. You have to be listening to us. Put your Spotify down, put whatever your playlist, don't stop playing with the playlist, but write it down, Relaxing Massage and Coding Music, C-O-D-I-N-G, and try that out the next time you got to get something going. Well, let me see what the Facebook people had to say. How did he do today? Everybody going along with you. Like the time a doctor told me I had DD but really wasn't paying attention. Dave Torrey says raking leaves, bush cutting, and mowing the lawn puts me in the zone. And Pam Duval says gardening. That's what I did yesterday. Gardening. I'd done some concrete demolition. Finally got that done. Had time yesterday, and it wasn't blazing hot yesterday, but it was repetitive work. So you put something on, and you can do all of this repetitive work without noticing how much time has gone by and how tired you're getting. Yes, 7:35 in the morning already. Must be time. That's Jerry Roberts in the Extra Point, again brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes. Portions of the Ray Gibson Show, including this next portion here, the newsy part, being brought to you by GPSI Guam. Give Al Yanger and his team a call and find out how they might be able to help you in this coming bad economy where only money that's going to be coming in is coming in from the federal government. These guys know how to find the guys that know how to get that money to Guam. Also brought to you by Auntie Lolita Kemet of Remax Diamond Realty for all of your real estate needs. Give her a jingle, 688-6743. That's 688-6743. Now, with news from the Guam Daily Post, here's Mata Silva Tyron.
Deliberations will begin in the murder trial of Brandon Acosta, who was charged in the 2018 murder of 15-year-old Tamika Nauta. Closing arguments were held on Monday. Acosta, if convicted, faces life in prison. Congress is expected to vote on the Defense Authorization Act, and included in that is a provision that would allow H-2B labor for civilian projects here on Guam. The amendment was included by Guam Congressman Mike San Nicolas. It would extend the provision for H-2B visa, H-2B workers for Guam. And the Department of Public Health reported 8 new cases of COVID-19 over the holiday. 6 of those, they say, had recent travel and were identified while in quarantine. 87 cases remain active. Meanwhile, Public Health will be doing a mass testing today at the Tamuninga Elementary School. Expect a line of traffic. The testing will be from 9 until noon. They'll be at the Asan Maina Mayor's office tomorrow. And a groundbreaking ceremony will be held next week for the rehabilitation of the airport's runway. The project covers the runway length of about 1,500 linear feet, a portion of which was originally constructed in the early 50s. And those are your headlines from the Guam Daily Post. For more on these stories, you can pick up a copy of the paper or log on to their website at postguam.com.
7:37 in the morning. Before Jerry goes, I wanted to take an opportunity to say a fond farewell to a frequent caller on this show and has been for many, many years. Rotary Club buddy, was a fixture at virtually every women's club event that I ever went to. But I want to say goodbye to Mo Cotton.
Mo Cotton.
He was a great guy.
Yes,
what an inspiration. Before I decided that I wanted to get into radio, I remember calling him up, and I couldn't have been 17, 18 or something like that. And I'd called him up to find out what it would take to become, and there were only a handful of people doing this on Guam at the time, a real estate agent. But Mo already had a class going that you could sign up for. He says, listen, kid, find $400. And he says, your last name Gibson? He says, I know your dad. You're good for it. Come on in and come on in. We'll take the class. We'll take the test and see what happens with you. I eventually got hauled into something else. And then full-time radio, actually. I had an opportunity to get into radio for full-time. So I never bothered with that. But it was just, his generosity, like, yeah, you'd make a great sales guy. Come on in and, don't worry about paying. You'll be all right with this. But over all of the years and a million Rotary meetings and, like I said, 1,000 galas that he was a part of, always had a painting or two that he put up for an auction to raise money for people.
Never a negative guy.
Ever.
He always had, I posted this on when the family had posted the news last night, always a positive word, always upbeat. I met Mo back before my radio days. I was in the insurance business way back when, and he was in the insurance business too when he came to Guam. He had come from, I want to say Okinawa. I could be wrong, but I want to say he was in Okinawa selling insurance to military there, and then he came to Guam, and that's when I met him. And back then, still, same kind of a guy. Positive, upbeat, everything was, it was always possibilities. There was always something that could be done,
So, golly, Wendy's. I want to say, wasn't he one of the original plank owners when they brought Wendy's back?
Wendy's, yeah.
But serial entrepreneur, artist, great dad, great husband, and our town was better for him being here.
Yes,
that is,
sir.
they're absolutely sure.
Yes, sir, indeed.
So ponder, as I will tell you when things like this happen. The family obviously has got some great memories of him. I'm sure there's just loaded with pictures that they've taken over the years. But there's guys like Jerry and I that have very unique memories of hanging out with Mo at different times in our lives. So write them all down, stick them in an email, put it in a post. If you see something online, post it. I remember your dad when he did this. I remember your husband when he did that. The last time I actually saw him, and you ever get a thing, you're walking around Payless or in front of the bank or something like that, and you see somebody and go, oh God, it's going to be a 10-minute conversation, and you're dreading it. I never had that feeling with Mo. I knew it would be a 10-minute conversation, and I kind of, hey Mo, how you doing? And we'd get to talking about whatever it is that was at the top of his mind, and before you knew it, a half hour would have evaporated right in front of us.
That's right.
I will miss him, and as I said, Guam is much better for it. Take those memories, write them down, and send them to the family online. 20 away from 8 o'clock in the morning, and that's we'll call that iConnect time. Go to iConnect and ask them about mobile units and plans and all kinds of things for mobile internet, even push to talk. They've got that at iConnect.
Becoming a homeowner can be a scary process, but it doesn't have to be, especially if you have the right guidance. Break through your fears and go to a real estate professional that will ensure a higher chance of success. That person is Lolita Kamet of RE/MAX Diamond Realty. Lolita also specializes in commercial leasing, land sales, local residential sales leasing, and military and corporate relocation. Don't be afraid. Call Lolita Kamet from RE/MAX Diamond Realty at 688-6743. That's 688-6743.
Portions of the Ray Gibson Show being brought to you by Ron and Kim over at Security Title. You got questions about real estate and don't know how to solve them. These guys, they'll talk to you even though you might not be in the middle of anything. But maybe you just want to know if that piece of property over there, is there anything interesting going to ever happen with this? Is there anything interesting that has ever happened with this property? They know all about that stuff over at Security Title. Ray Gibson Show is also being brought to you by the team over at Nanbo Insurance. These are challenging times for everybody. Nanbo is there to make them less challenging. Nanbo Insurance's offices are open and ready to serve you. You can reach them at 477-9754 or call them at nanbo.com.
Wow, nice smile. So perfect and all.
Thanks. I owe it all to Dr. Robert Yang and his smile team. They do wonders for a healthy, happy mouth.
Got teeth? Don't wait until they hurt. Schedule your routine checkup and cleaning with Dr. Yang and his smile team. Suite 119 in the East West Business Center, Upper Tumon. Call 647-8702 or 3.
The best thing that happened to teeth since toothpaste.
Dr. Yang and his smile team.
They make smiles happen.
All right, must be time for traffic because that's the traffic music that's playing in the background. I got the traffic gizmo up on my screen. Let me get it up on your screens for those of you that are following along on Facebook Live. A little bit of traffic. Wait. Oh, zoom in, zoom out. Where do I want to go? Up north, Anderson Air Force Base, where we still got a little bit of color up on the lines between 9 and 1 up on Marine Corps Drive. Headed southbound, you are going to hit traffic at virtually all of the intersections that will take you from Dedido into Harmon and into Upper Tumon. So expect some delays through there. What is that on Marine Corps Drive? What is that? Hold on a second. Why do we have some traffic leaning up on both sides of Upper Tumon? Which intersection is that one there? Huh. I'll be darned. That's the one over by GTA. We got traffic in both directions, looking a little bit slower than usual in there. Route 8's got its own set of traffic, and then we've got 10 Alpha. Looks like we've got traffic on Route 8. This one here, I can almost tell. Yeah, that's over by Cars Plus, so expect some northbound delays. Getting into the downtown Agutya area, well, it's Wednesday, and so we've got what looks like Wednesday traffic through there at the intersection of 1 and 4. A little bit of traffic down by Adelup, and let me just scooch out and go all the way down to Big Navy and see what they're up to down there. Yeah, we've got some traffic. Looks like it's beginning to build up on both sides of the intersection down there in Sumai, so watch out for that. 744 right now, traffic on the point.
Chili's introduces the new Crispy Ribs. Mouth-watering Texas-sized ribs tossed in country fried steak batter. Order your Crispy Ribs as an appetizer or a full rack entree with your choice of 2 sides. Each order comes with one of 3 new dipping sauces: the creamy avocado salsa, sweet Kentucky, or the sweet mango chipotle sauce. Chili's Crispy Ribs are available for a limited time only, so hurry in and enjoy a crispy, juicy ribs experience today. Chili's is on the 2nd floor at the Tumon Sands Plaza. Chili's, we do ribs like no place else. else.
Somebody wanted to know if I could play that mukbang video. Yeah, I think today is the day for the mukbang video on Goofing Off over there. Where we need to go to here is to tell you about Mount Carmel, which is not a food place. Mount Carmel. Wouldn't that be awesome? Just like a thing that looks like Mount Lam, except it's made out of melty sugar with butter. How about that? Anyway, Mount Carmel preschool, kindergarten, elementary, and middle school classes are all set to reopen in August. Accrediting teams recently awarded MCS highest scores, max 6-year term possible. MCS academics and programs continue to win big awards on Guam and internationally. So register your children today and enjoy the best in-classroom or distance learning possible. After-school programs are also available at Mount Carmel, 565-5128. All right. So here's the scary from the JIC. Cumulative results. 8 test positive for COVID-19. And expanded COVID-19 testing continues. They went through it over, it looks like we got a bunch of people. 8 new cases from the Department of Public Health and Social Services. All of the other hospitals and labs reporting 0 hits. If they, in fact, I don't think anybody else besides Public Health did any testing over the last 48 hours. So we got +8, which brings our total now to 327 confirmed cases of Corona-19 since the beginning of this pandemic back in March. Now, what's the number that I like to look at is what's the hit rate? Anybody want to take a guess as to what the hit rate might be? We've got 18,757 tests, and there are 327 coronavirus cases. And at 1 point, what do you want? It's somewhere between 1.5 and 2.0. Come on, math me, guys.
1.59999.
That number is too low.
1.2999.
If that number was too low, 1.2 would be... Duenas guy, right? Duenas guy. I got it. Wasn't paying attention to the question. The number's 1.7. We're 1.7.
Well, it's closer than Real Joe.
1.74 for those of you that are keeping track. The hit rates have been going lower and lower and lower. And I know you're going to, but Raymond, it's 8. See, we went to PCOR 3 on Monday, and now we've got 8. Lock everything down. Everybody go back in the basement. 3 days of darkness.
The 6 of the 8 were identified in quarantine, which
is what it's supposed to. Which is what it's there for.
Well, proof again that we need testing at the airport.
Where's the guy? Where's the? I don't know. There was a testing at the airport and then no testing at the airport. I don't know. I mean, I just.
Don't never mind.
Are they in a hospital?
COVID's not real.
It's not real. Where are they? Where are they? In the hospital? Are they dead? No, they're not dead. It's just, they've been identified as having Corona-19. And so keep them away from grandma the same way as that the other 300 people that have got Corona-19, keep them away from grandma. Anyway, 7:47 in the morning, because it leads us into the next round of conversation. We know that there's COVID-19, and you can be twitchy about it if you want to. You want a mask? If you have to wear a mask, then please go to Romeo Miranda's store, which is called
Buenas and Half a Day.
And you can find masks that say The Point. Now he made these for us, but if he was smart and
second floor of a shopping center.
If anybody buys a Point mask, we got to split the money. Otherwise, my partners are going to go, what? you told him he could use the logo? Yeah, you can use the logo. We're going to split the proceeds
he made that for us.
on this. So this is just for us. It's
just
bespoke.
For us, and he gave us 5.
Mm-hmm.
So Bob will get one, and then. If you want to order, I suppose he could do it for you. Well, he'll take any print, any image that you give him and put it, because I got some masks for Shelley that say, Make America Great Again.
Can we have some that say, I'm in with Lou and Josh?
I suppose you could.
7:48 in the morning, 888-825-5888. TALK is the telephone number here at the radio station. But that brings us into the next round of the conversation that we need to have here about who do you believe? What do you believe? There are guys over at the chamber. They're going to make a big noise about this here, and they're going to be joined by some people over at the Republican Party. The government of Guam has recently released a CRER for the period ending May 31, 2020, which reported a shortfall of $51 million in governmental general fund revenues. The Bureau of Budget and Management Research commented in a local publication that much of the shortfall was attributed to the movement of the tax filing deadline from July 15th to July 15th from April the 15th. The report indicates that year-to-date corporate and individual tax shortfall is roughly $41 million. While we need to wait until the July 2020 report to understand the true impact of these taxes on government revenue, the remaining $10 million shortage in collections, which supports the government of Guam's operations, is concerning. Further, they go on, in addition to the general fund revenues, special revenue funds are also significantly behind as compared to prior year. And they talk about shortfalls in the Guam Highway Fund, shortfall in the Tourist Attraction Fund, shortage in the CQA Inspection Services Fund. A review of all special funds will illustrate that government revenue is tracking well below prior years in almost all funds. We got a problem with tourism. We got a problem with the downturn in the economy, and a bigger downturn in the economy that is predicted as soon as all of the federal money runs out. And everybody's kind of holding their breath going, but there'll be another stimulus, right? They're talking about that in Washington, D.C. I haven't gotten any word that, to start, don't worry, Ray, your wallet's going to be remade fat again by the federal government. I'm not hearing that. So the question is, what can be done to shore things up for the government of Guam? No matter what you think about the government and the people that run the government, there still needs to be schools. There still needs to be police. There still needs to be public health. There still needs to be guys that answer the phone over at the fire department. So we got to make sure that those people are taken care of in the coming months. How do we do that? The answer and the question, as I said, is who do you believe? Is it not common sense that the major pillar of our economy, tourism, is off the way it is? We're seeing the numbers in the special funds go down. We recognize that there are a lot of businesses that are closed and are never ever going to be coming back. In the meantime, it feels like the government's whistling as it's walking past the graveyard, right? Everybody else is saying, you guys need to start figuring out where we're going to be this time next year, because a 6, 7, 8% business privilege tax is not going to fly with the voters. More on that before we get too far lost into the conversation. My very close, very dear personal friend, Dave Del Sol, is on the line. Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning, Ray. How are you doing today?
Or Chief, I'm doing okay. Jerry Roberts, when we went into PCOR 3, started sending me some paperwork, and I thought, well, this will be interesting to talk to Dave about. But now that we are in PCOR 3, has there been a change to how the continuing PUAs are going to be made for people that have gone through the application process? And I guess the question is, because I know the answer is yes, it has to do with I got to start, if I'm on the PUA program, I got to start calling employers and asking for jobs or looking into gigs, right?
That's what was in the original executive order, and it's something that I'm in discussions with the governor to see whether she wants to move on with the way it is or change it. It's not something that's real easy to do. I also have to get verification with USDOL and make sure that everything is okay on both sides. Mm-hmm. You always have to remember, this is a USDOL program. We can make recommendations. We can make suggestions. Ultimately, they have to agree. So hopefully we'll have something for today that will
lost him. Need you to call me back there, Dave Del Sola. All right, because I heard what you said. I heard the words, but in my head, it sounds like it could go in a couple of different directions. So that I'll get them. So we've got the governor's executive order. Did that executive order create the language that said that PUA recipients would need to go out and seek alternate forms of employment, or did that come from the U.S. Department of Labor?
Well, that followed the guidelines of the U.S. Department of Labor, that you have to basically, in order to keep getting the benefits, you have to go out and actively be looking for work. And whenever you do the weekly claims that are in the program, it'll ask you, are you willing and able to work? Are you seeking work? And all that stuff. But of course, when we were in the quarantines and everything was closing, that part was exempted. And now that we're in PCOR 3, that is something that has to be negotiated and worked out. And being Liberation Day was yesterday, even though I worked and all that, it was just tough to get a quick answer. And we're working on that now to see if there's something, if we do have an option to hold off on it or we have to continue it.
Okay,
It's not
yeah, because
something that
it
we
sounds
can
like
do
it would be.
unilaterally.
So if a couple of scenarios pop into my mind, one of them is, and I've got people like that are in front of me. So I've got I'm in the PUA program. I'm not unemployed. I'm just not making the same hours as I had before. Are they still going to be required to go out and talk to somebody about filling in that gap?
No. Those are the ones that are claiming total unemployment, and that they've been laid off.
If there's somebody that was laid off and is a part of the PUA program, what backup should they need to have from potential employers? They come by the radio station, hey Ray, how's it going? Do you have any openings? And I say no. Is that sufficient for them to put down in some kind of an affidavit that they asked if Ray had openings?
Yes, I think the easiest way, and like I said, I'm hoping that we'll be able to get some positive answer today on this change. But the easiest way is just to go into Hire Guam and submit 3 inquiries to any of the employers that are in there, and then that's will satisfy the requirement.
You don't have to have any. You don't have to have anything from me that they scan or upload or take a picture of that says, "Yeah, I did try. I applied, and they said no."
Basically, you would just submit that you did 3 active searches. You would. I haven't looked at it exactly. Put what companies, and like I say, certify that the information is true and correct. So I can get into more specifics if today it stays in. But I do want to make a small announcement, if you don't mind.
Please.
We released we batched another file yesterday when we were working during liberation. So we batched another $17 million that will be going out. $2 million will be going out in checks, and $13.5 million will be direct deposited. That'll give us, and we have the good news is we have 17 million and a half, 17.5 million total taxes, with a total of $212 million that have been processed in this program. So like I said, we try to do a batch every Tuesday, and it should be hitting the banks by Friday, and the check should be going out by that following week.
Okay. Well, we're getting. I don't want to say we're getting close to the end on this thing, but you can, by the end of next week, see the end of the FPUCs, correct?
If there's no changes by Congress, yes, you're correct. This is the last work week that you're eligible for the FPUC.
Okay. Now, but if somebody comes in and signs up, before the end of the month, they'll be eligible for everything that they would have gotten in the PUA plus the FPUCs up until the end of July.
Anytime, all the way up till December when they file, everything will be retroed.
Gotcha.
If you still qualify during that period.
Gotcha.
So you don't have to worry about it running out or being expired.
And if you apply,
that you get.
If you apply, take a note. If you apply, have a bank account number. Make sure you know exactly what that bank account number is, not the routing number. You can put the routing number goes one place, the account number goes in another place. Don't mess it up, and then don't go complaining to journalists that you don't have that it's coming out slow for you, because we told you from the beginning it was going to be coming out slow. I'm going to leave you on the line and bring in Congressman Mike Sinicolas right now at 7:58. This is breaking news from Washington, D.C. Congressman Sinicolas, good morning. You're on with Dave Del Solo from the Department of Labor, who I'm sure would be interested to hear the results of the vote. Good morning.
Oh, hi. Good morning, Ray. Good morning, Dave. Yeah, we just got word in. Hi. The NDAA has passed with a vote of 295 in favor and 125 against. So we've had a pretty good bipartisan showing on support of the bill. And the particular amendment that is going to enable us to bring in H-2 workers for the civilian projects did not receive any opposition on the floor at all. So far, so good.
So it has made it through the House vote intact?
Yes, it is intact, and it will be part of what is considered by the Senate.
Okay, so when it goes to the Senate, is that going to be just an up-down vote, or are they going to take it apart? And is it possible that there might be some immigration hawks that will look at our exemption and say, well, I don't know about that?
That may occur. Our job is to try and smooth that over as much as possible. The fact that we had unanimous support in the House for the amendment is very significant to that fact, because there are immigration hawks in the House. There are immigration hawks on the Armed Services Committee, on the Natural Resources Committee, and in the Judiciary Committee, but all of them gave us unanimous support for the amendment, and there was no objections to us including it for consideration. So that, in and of itself, is going to give us a very good lead going into the Senate side, and hopefully we can maintain that trajectory.
All right. Dave, if you've got any questions, feel free to ask them. Otherwise, we're just a note here, programming note, we're going to be late into Fox News if we get to Fox News at all this hour. I think this is a breaking news story, and the fact that it is now past the House is of interest to me and everybody in the private side of business that realizes that there is some demand for pent-up construction here on Guam at the hands of H-2 laborers. If the bill passes, it makes it through the Senate, goes to the White House for a signature. When does the exemption go into effect for Guam? When will we be able to start more wholesale taking it, getting applications? Would Dave be able to process applications for these H-2 laborers?
Typically, it starts at the new year, if I'm not mistaken.
In the new year?
I'm not sure. I didn't see the bill. So,
Okay. Mike, what's your understanding?
Yeah, that is correct. It is the 2021 funding authorization for the National Defense Authorization Act. So it will be for the 2021 approvals. But what's key to understand is that...
One second. Is that fiscal year? Is that fiscal year 2021 or calendar?
It's immediate. It depends on when they actually pass the bill. Like last year, they passed it in November until it was effective upon passage. And so if they pass this before the start of the U.S. fiscal year, then of course it will be for the fiscal year.
Okay.
If they pass it after the beginning of the fiscal year, then it will be for whenever the bill is actually passed.
Because I don't think Dave Del Sol is busy enough. I think you need to be processing H-2B applications by the hundreds. What do you think, Dave?
I always am support of more H-2 so that we can rebuild this island and get it rocking and rolling, and especially those single home owners that are trying to build their homes for the first time, who have no construction, no way of doing that. This would be a welcome relief.
Got it. Mike, I do appreciate you, Congressman. I appreciate you calling in with the good news that the NDAA has passed the House. The exemption for H-2B labor on the civilian projects on Guam is intact. It now goes to the Senate for their deliberation, and hopefully they won't mess around with it too much, leave everything in place, and we can move forward with this. This is terrific news. I appreciate you calling in.
Thanks, Ray. Take care, take care, and you too, Dave. You take care.
Right on, guys. 888-825-888-TALK. Dave, I'm going to let you run as well. I appreciate the sentiment here. Folks, we'll see what happens by the end of the day today, and I reserve the right to bother you again tomorrow, depending on what you hear from the DOL.
Of course.
Okay.
Anytime.
Talk to you soon, buddy. 888-825-888-TALK. Well, there might still be some news playing on the network, so we'll jump into Fox News Live now.
Trending the stories you need anytime you want online. And Fox Nation, streaming the entertainment that celebrates America. Fox News Media, America's News, and much more. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo today launching another round of verbal attacks on China during his trip to the UK.
Mike Pompeo calling China's government a threat and describing the coronavirus pandemic as preventable.
The CCP's exploitation of this disaster to further its own interests has been disgraceful.
Speaking after talks with his British counterpart in London, the Secretary of State urging allies to press China.
We hope we can build out a coalition that understands this threat and will work collectively to convince the Chinese Communist Party it's not in their best interest to engage in this kind of behavior.
Pompeo accusing China of threatening and bullying other countries. In London, Simon Owen, Fox News.
Ukrainian police say an armed man who held hostages on a bus has surrendered, and all 13 people held captive were freed unharmed. The man seized the bus in northwestern Ukraine early this morning, prompting a nearly 12-hour standoff with police.
Amazon is once again postponing its popular Prime Day sales.
Amazon's plans for Prime Day this year are still a mystery. The company's United Kingdom unit has tweeted that it will be holding Prime Day there later than usual this year, and Prime members in India will be saving on August 6th and 7th. Back in May, the Wall Street Journal reported the company was looking to reschedule the mid-July sale for the fall. Earlier this month, Business Insider reported third-party sellers were told to use the week of October 5th as a placeholder date. Janiko Sola, Fox News.
The federal government is taking another shot at flavored vaping products. The FDA ordering the company that makes Puff Bar e-cigarettes to pull its flavored products from sale within 15 days. The company sells products like mango, pink lemonade, and strawberry flavors, those that tend to be popular among those too young to buy and use e-cigarettes legally. I'm Rich Dennison, and this is Fox News.
45 never looked so good. Howdy, Colonel Sanders here. KFC has been serving finger-licking good chicken on Guam since 1975, and we want to celebrate that with KFC's 45th anniversary 10-piece family meal. 10 pieces of my KFC original recipe chicken, 3 large homestyle sides, 4 pieces of KFC's fluffy buttermilk biscuits, and a box of macadamia nut chocolates. Biba, KFC Guam, KFC. It's finger-licking good.
You've got a job to do. Having the right equipment for the job is critical, and East West Rental has the exact tools you need. Get it done faster with the right stuff, whether it's landscaping tools, concrete tools, lifts, trucks, lights, generators, trench boxes, welders, tents, tables, and chairs. They're here to help you tackle any project you're working on, big or small. Open Monday to Saturday, 7 to 5, closed Sundays. Find what you're looking for at East West Rental Center in Upper Tumont, or call 646-1463.
Woo-wee! Just take a gander at them tender and juicy fall-off-the-bone St. Louis ribs. Heavens to Betsy! What is their secret? It's bursting with so much flavor, I can eat them all day long. Come see for yourself, y'all. These fine slabs of hunky-dory, mouth-watering ribs are only available at Circle K. Circle K. Take it easy.
Half a day, it's 8:06. I'm Mana Silva Tyron with a look at your local news from the Guam Daily Post. Congress has passed the 2021 National Defense Authorization Act, and included in that is the provision that would allow for H-2B labor for civilian projects here on Guam. Currently, the H-2B labor has been limited primarily to military projects. The 2021 NDAA will now be sent to the Senate for their deliberation, and Congressman Mike Nicholas is hoping that the act will stay intact as it's won bipartisan support in the House. Since the island's been placed in PCOR 3 on Monday, there are new requirements for displaced workers who are receiving unemployment benefits, and they'll need to be looking for a job or they could lose their benefits. The requirement is that they make at least 3 contacts every week. The job search is part of the eligibility guidelines that the Department of Labor issued for the federally funded unemployment benefit programs that have allowed displaced workers to receive up to $945 a week. Individuals will need to keep a record of their work search contacts and submit those when requested. The island was placed in PCOR 3 on Monday, and even as many COVID-related restrictions have been lifted over the last several weeks, there continues to be an increase in the number of displaced workers. Guam has 34,544 workers who have been laid off, furloughed, or had their work hours reduced since March as a direct result of the COVID-19 pandemic. The figures are based on the reporting of 1,900 employers who filed on HireGuam.com. Guam's PUA benefits, meanwhile, set at $345 a week. The additional $600 weekly from the FPUC payments will end on July 25th unless Congress extends that. Those who are still waiting for their PUA and FPUC benefits for the period of unemployment prior to July 25th can still expect to get up to $945 in weekly benefits. In fact, Labor this week will push out their 5th batch of payments to include paper checks. The next payments will be ready to release next week. And Revent Tax is issuing 1,500 tax refunds this week as well as this will cover for 2019 tax filers. The refund's worth $5.3 million. It covers tax returns which were filed up until January 31st. More news after this.
Becoming a homeowner can be a scary process, but it doesn't have to be, especially if you have the right guidance. Break through your fears and go to a real estate professional that will ensure a higher chance of success. That person is Lolita Cammett of RE/MAX Diamond Realty. Lolita also specializes in commercial leasing, land sales, local residential sales leasing, and military and corporate relocation. Don't be afraid. Call Lolita Cammett from RE/MAX Diamond Realty at 688-6743. That's 688-6743.
The jury will begin deliberations today in the Brandon Acosta trial. Acosta faces a maximum sentence of life in prison for the murder and rape of 15-year-old Tamika Nauta. Closing arguments were held on Monday. The man is charged with aggravated murder, criminal sexual conduct, and home invasion, along with aggravated assault and burglary. The charges also include a special allegation of possession and use of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony and notice of a commission of a felony while on felony release. 8 new COVID cases were reported yesterday, but the majority of them had recent travel and were identified while in quarantine. This brings the total number of COVID cases on Guam to 327 since testing started back in March. 87 of those cases remain active. Meanwhile, Public Health will resume their mass testing today. You can expect a long line of traffic as folks head up to the Tamuning Elementary School for the free testing. They'll be there from 9 a.m. until noon. If you missed today's testing and you would like to get tested, you can go to the Asan Mayina Mayor's office tomorrow, again, from 9 a.m. until noon. And Senator Tello Taidagui thinks an ethics complaint filed against her is politically motivated, but GURA Director Ray Tapasnia, who filed the complaint, says otherwise and wants an apology from Taidagui. Tapasnia lodging the ethics complaint against the senator over statements she made during a confirmation hearing back in May. Tapasnia says that they were defamatory remarks about his character. He says the statements could discourage future public testimony or discourage individuals from accepting appointments by the governor to any board. He says he'll gladly drop the ethics complaint if Senator Taidagui apologizes, not to him, but to the governor's appointee and to the general public. Taidagui, meanwhile, says that the timing of the complaint demonstrates that it is purely political. And those are your top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Ray with your weather.
Okay, it says 8:11 in the morning, and you asked for weather. I wanted this to be organic, so I actually went outside and looked.
Did you?
Yes. And I'm a little bit disappointed because, as it turns out, today is not the day. Well, it might. So far, it is not the day.
It's not Kadu Day.
It's not. Yeah, it's not the day for something like this. I got this from a friend of mine, and we have different words for things here. Like on Guam, when it starts raining, like it did a little bit yesterday in the overnights. That's BMW, baby making weather, and in the Philippines, it's they just call it bedroom weather. But it's universally approved that when it starts getting to be like it was, it's soup weather. For sure, it is soup weather. And this is a picture that I got of what was working on her stove. We got 4 pieces of corn on the cob. That's shank?
Yeah.
There's shank in there, right?
Is that shank or
That's
is
some
it
bone
oxtail?
marrow right there, baby.
I think it's too big to be
Some
oxtail.
bok choy.
Right? And some bok choy. And there's potatoes in there. And I'm thinking there's got to be some kind of spicy thing that we can put in there, some kind of a sriracha thing or just regular Filipino Pinoy sauce or something that goes in there. And that so in case you're wondering if we're the only ones that have soup when it rains, no, we are not the only ones. And in particular, that kind of soup looks like it would hit the spot today. 8:12 in the morning, partly sunny with isolated showers, isolated thunderstorms this morning. For those of you that want to do the BMW thing, there's southeast winds up to about 15 miles an hour. Highs near 89 degrees. There's partly cloudy skies in the forecast tonight. Still winds from the southeast. That might help out for those of you that are trying to complete a running challenge. Around 10 miles an hour this evening, becoming light. That's also helpful. Overnight lows should be about 80 degrees. Sunrise this morning was at 6:03. Sunset tonight is going to be at 6:51. Hashtag tell the others. Never. Do I need to show you the pictures again from last night? Never turn your back on a Guam sunset. It's 8:13.
When you can do what you need to do from wherever you are, why wouldn't you? The Going Online Together partners encourage you to explore all the ways you can safely, securely, and conveniently go digital. Pay bills, check account balances, register for services, and much more. And don't worry, when you practice safe online activity, you can trust that your personal information is secure. Be part of the new norm, make life easier, and join in the movement of going online together.
Docomo Pacific Business presents the Work Better Together webinar series. Session 1's topic is Reconnecting Guam, Tourism's Path Forward. This free webinar will feature industry experts in tourism and technology sharing the latest information on the future of tourism in Asia Pacific. Join this 2-hour online event on July 29th at 10 a.m. Register for free at docomopacific.eventbrite.com. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
I'm supposed to tell you about Mezcal, but I have no idea where I put the scripts. Did I? It's in here somewhere.
They're open in Agana.
Yeah, don't even try. Don't even try. I just, it's one of those things because it's got a phone number. It's not like I can ad-lib the entire thing. It's not like I can just go off the top of my head and talk about Uhang burgers and the biggest, spiciest burgers that you can get. A lot of people do that. They go, oh, that's where I go if I want to get, something's got, a little bit more culture on it. No, it's also a good place to go for burgers and have that with some fried tortillas and some of the, oh gosh, that's all good stuff. But the parrotfish and more. I'm not anywhere closer to it, but I am kind of riffing on it. But yeah, they are open in the downtown Agana area. The main branch of Mezcla is open and ready for you. We got lunch starting around 11 o'clock in the morning, and then you can go in for dinner about 5 o'clock in the evening. We do recommend that you make reservations. I have memorized this phone number. It's 479-2652. I wasn't just looking down at the console when I did that. From my memory, 479-2652. Get your Mezcla fix today, would you? APL brings you portions of the program as well. The more interesting parts, the APL, a global presence with a local home.
The Ray Gibson Show, bringing you closer to the action. This is The Point, Guam's FM News Talk Superstation.
I know what you're thinking. A real broadcast facility populated with real actual broadcast professionals. Real Joe would have had a copy of that script in front of him, so that if somehow, on the off chance that I might falter in my responsibilities as a broadcaster, Real Joe would be able to reach in there and go, wait a second, save, and throw the phone number out and the times that they're open, websites, all of that stuff. This isn't that kind of place. It's. I don't know. Maybe we'll get around to doing that. What's it been, 2 years? You know what yesterday was?
Liberation Day.
Thank you. But you know what else it was?
Tuesday.
Tall Tales
2-year birthday. Anniversary. Yeah.
Oh,
it was
happy anniversary.
It was Liberation a couple of years ago, and Bob Klitsky wanted to be on the radio, and we thought this might be a good opportunity. So we got the big van, we got the big outdoor thing, Daryl Luzama on the 1s and 2s in front, and we had a cool microphone, so we'd be yakking back and forth with people, and Bob Klitsky, who didn't necessarily want to be inside with all the young people, which is, if you were there, that's fact. He's like, okay. I think, can I have that mic? And he walked as much up and down as possible, and was going out and shaking everybody's hands. I'm going to be on Tall Tales 93.3, The Point, starting to buzz. So happy anniversary, happy second anniversary to Bob Klitsky over at Tall Tales. I think this February will be the third anniversary of the Ray Gibson Show, unless we're knocked out by competition or something like that. We'll watch and see how that happens. 8:17 in the morning, 888-825-5888-TALK. Sorry, a lot of paper shuffling, because fact of the matter is there is actually a lot to talk about today. And in case you missed it, in the last couple of minutes of the last hour, Mike Sinicolas called in and stole all of Dave Del Sola's thunder. Did you see that? Dave had something. He was like, oh yeah, and don't forget we're going to do this, and we get $270 million, $212 million now that has gone out in payments for PUAs and FPUCs and all of that stuff, and we're geared up for more and all of that. And here comes Mike Sinicolas calling in saying, oh, by the way, that little thing I stuck in the NDAA still there. Yeah. Civilian projects now with H-2B labor that I put in there, still. They passed the House. Moving. I'm trying to do this like Trump. It's the best bill ever. It's the best bill. A lot of other states are looking for the same thing, but here we are, Guam, blessed territory ever. Not a bad congressman, am I? And so the NDAA now is a part of a package that will go to the Senate. And as I've said before, in fact, you can go back to hear guys like Robert Underwood and Madeline Berdalio say the same thing. There are people in the Senate who are, as I said, immigration hawks. And there are going to be some guys, especially in the Republicans, that go, oh, this is just another opportunity for H-2s to fly to the United States of America, steal American jobs. and or become part of the woodwork, and we'll never hear from them again. They'll become immigration violators and more illegal aliens. Of course, Guam doesn't have that problem, hasn't had that problem. But try to explain that to some of these old farts in Congress, and it's very difficult to get through. So he believes, and he says, look, we've got immigration hawks in the House side too, and this managed to pass with no major problems. So it is possible that this will make it all the way through the Senate and eventually get back to the President of the United States of America. We know that Donald Trump is in constant communication with people from Guam. We know that there is somebody close to Guam in the Trump White House, and unless there's any other problems that are in the NDAA that might be an issue for the White House, don't see why he would single out H-2Bs for Guam being part of the problem. So here's the thing. We might have an opportunity to fly in some H-2 guys from the Philippines and have them work on some of these jobs. And you're going to go, but they're taking American jobs. Yeah, about that. I think all of the people that have got the skills that can be employed by some of these big contractors are already out there. They're already there. But you take a look at what the skilled labor is, and you look at some of the numbers for a lot of these positions, and you're going, that's just not enough to get a whole lot of guys out from under doing kind of under the table, just helping out my buddy in the shack, and he paid me $300 for it. And if you're one of those guys, hit me up on the WhatsApp, dude, 988-5874. I need some tile work done, need some concrete work done, and, I could call a contractor to do it, or be happy to talk to you if you are a good tile guy. I've got this idea for the back. I got a back patio. Just needs a whole lot of thin set and level the thing out. Then I'm going to come in with some tile, some nice Home Depot tile, and I've got this really good looking tile. And I've been asking Mana and the other members of the family about it. I've been digging around in the outside garden, and there are literally 100 pounds or so of this really incredible antique tile. It's the kind it takes 4 pieces to make a 4x4. And it's just beautiful colors. And of course, it's been buried in the ground or burned forever, so they're all of them kind of different. Yeah. So I'm just trying to figure out what to do with all of that. But anyway, so long and short of it is, we'll see if this ends up to be one of those happening things. Possibilities that there could be more H-2Bs. Now, you might also be thinking, that's it. They're going to be bringing these guys in by the plane load. But if you talk to anybody in the contracting industry, they might say, well, not necessarily the plane load here, guys, because it's not cheap to do the applications. And it wasn't that long ago, I want to say Regine Bisco-Lee, in one of the couple of legislatures that she was in, provided for additional fees on the application to go to making sure that local guys were getting trained for these jobs that they're not applying for. So we'll watch and see how this all breaks out. Plus, we still got COVID. We still has the COVID-19. So are there going to be, that might actually be an incentive. I don't know. I've seen things in conversations that we hear about in the Philippines, and it is possible there might be some people in the Philippines going, I'll take any job anywhere as long as it gets me out of this place, because it's kind of crazy in Manila in particular. 888-8255-888-TALK is the telephone number. And I did get a note. I haven't done this in a while. Let me just go and take a look and see who of the All-Stars are playing around this morning on the Facebook Live. I got Pam Duvall's there, Joe Regis, and talking about, I think that's a thing that goes back to Jerry Roberts' his deal. Bell Netadog is online. Hava Jesse Canata, Joe Cruz, and Charlie Hermosa online from American President Lines. Bob and Connie Bartonico are there. Sambini Young, who says, pick Mo Cotton. Oops, is it okay to ask that, to say that nowadays? Okay, you know what? I thought it was okay to say it back then, but oh my God. You get people just the terminally annoyed. And that I'm going, that's his name. Pick Mo Cotton. What's that? And oh my God, racial overtones, all of this other stuff. And to the degree that he backed away from it, he did. But if I don't know, I didn't have a problem with it. Somebody's going, because you're white. But anyway, who else is on? Wen, who is asking me to change the spelling here. It is ride into the Finnegayan danger zone. That's what I was shooting for. ride into the, which is a lyric line from Kenny Loggins' song from Top Gun called The Danger Zone, right? So I thought ride into the Finnegan Danger Zone because I thought maybe I'd do a little bit more on this. This came out the other day, and I wanted to talk about it, but I also recognize it's a fairly technical document, so I wanted to read it first. Pacific Ocean at Naval Base Guam telecommunication site, Finnegan Small Arms Range on the northwestern coast of Guam, Danger Zone. This is a rerun. This is a rerun, but it's just that the rule has come out now. You remember a few months ago, the thing that got everybody in a twitch here was there was a firing range at NICTAMS. You remember? Did you ever go there? I never went there.
Never.
But there was a firing range there, and apparently when they put it together, they didn't put together a danger zone. And then all of a sudden, the guys come out and go, have you been operating this all this time without a danger zone? And they said, yeah. And they said, oh, my God. Stupid. So I think there was a shutdown, and then they restarted the process, and in restarting the process had to do the thing with the danger zone. And everybody said, but that's where I go fish. I fished there. And the truth of the matter was, I had gone fishing there with my brother and Eveline's husband, the doctor, just a few weeks prior to that. So I knew exactly where we were talking about. And so I don't remember us catching anything specifically there, besides a buzz and a sunburn. But otherwise, you know, it's always that was an interesting place. There are a lot of boats going back and forth, and they're not going to be able to do that because that's where the danger zone is going to be. But it's only going to be operative. It's only going to be a danger zone when the firing range is operative. Now, the question that I have got here is which one of the 1, 2, 3 people that are running for Congress are going to wrap themselves around this? This will be their flag. Which one is going to wrap themselves around this so that the other guy doesn't do this? Is this one of those? Who do we need to appeal to? The fishermen? Environmentalists? The Finogi Coalition. Yes, Finogi Coalition. Those are the guys. All right, so who has the least credibility with the Finogi Coalition? You better start warming up on this issue now and start wrapping yourself up in the Guam flag because that's what is going to be expected to you. Now, they're already upset. Because the language in this, they were asking for a public hearing. Now, is this going to be a public hearing so that they can bring out new ideas, thoughts that they might not have already had, maybe some new information, some new discoveries? We need to have a public hearing so we can talk about all of this stuff. And the Corps says, yeah, about that. So maybe we're not going to have a public hearing because it's just going to be an opportunity for you to come in and complain to us about, I don't know, Uncle Sam did this to you, Uncle Sam did that to you. Unless it's going to be something that's actually germane to this surface danger zone. For a firing range that's already been there all this time. Unless you're going to be coming to us with new stuff, we don't believe that there is going to be any need for the public hearing. The Corps regulations allow district engineers to conduct public hearings for the purpose of acquiring information which will be considered in evaluating a proposed action that requires a decision by the Corps. And it goes, you can read the whole thing. It's online. The Corps District carefully reviewed all of the requests for a public hearing or public meetings, as well as the comments received in response to the proposed rule, and concluded that a public hearing would not identify issues or concerns that were not already identified and discussed in the comments submitted in response to the proposed rule and district's public notice. However, you can probably imagine that there's somebody out there that's already written the poetry slam for this. And it is now where... If there's not going to be a public hearing, how can I poetry slam? How can me and my friends going to go line up on that brand new stretch of roadway on the way to Arunau and poetry slamming and protesting? How can we do this if we're not going to have a public comment? Beats that. There was another thing that they asked for. I love this. The Corps regulations require that danger zones and restricted areas provide public access to the area to the maximum extent possible and not cause unreasonable interference with or restrict the food fishing industry. So you get some food fishing industry people that came out and said, we're not going to be able to fish there and feed our families and do all this stuff. The regulations require the Corps, and this is how they're going to say, look, we tried, okay? What? Can't get mad at us. Go and yell at the guys at Fish and Wildlife and the National Marine Fisheries Service. The regulations required the Corps to consult with regional directors of Fish and Wildlife and National Marine Fisheries Service regarding impacts to the food industry. Corps District sent each agency a letter in May of 2019 requesting comments in relation to the food fishing industry. Neither agency responded to those letters. We tried. Don't poetry slam me. Go poetry slam Fish and Wildlife. They're the ones. And if you're wondering why I'm using poetry slams, because it's, in my mind, easily one of the most annoying things I've ever heard. It's that, and I got a neighbor the other day. I get home, and I laid down on the couch because I'd already had my lunch, and I was thinking, okay, this is going to catch my cat nap, right? And I can't sleep because there's this noise. There's a kind of static coming out bleeding into the house, and I couldn't make it out. And I finally opened the door, and I put my ear to the world, and it was one of my neighbors that was practicing battle rapping. Good Lord. So I need to have somebody from the window place come by the house. I'm going to need thicker radio broadcast.
What did that sound like?
It was a lot of four-letter words. There are a lot of four-letter words, and apparently this guy thinks he's super popular with the ladies, if you know what I mean. It's like the Warwick guys. It's like James Howard's Warwick guys. All right, so I'd asked for, I'm sorry, this is based on just when telling me that I got to respell Finnegods, and apparently I spelled it wrong. It's spelled Finnegain. I put 2 E's at the end of it. And FYI, it's not a Chamorro word. Danger zone restricted area regulations. The area coordinates are bounded by, and then it gives the latitude and longitude for 4 different points on the compass. It's basically going to form, as they all do, something that looks like a parallelogram, right? You know, where they got a narrow end over here, and then it will open up over there. I'd kind of like to know where the thing is. Is my house in any kind of danger at all from, these guys shooting 45s going pew, pew at their firing range? So I don't know. We'll watch and see if there's anything going to be coming out of that conversation other than the usual suspects getting annoyed by it. I'll know the second they do, because Michael Bavacqua, does the judge have a fun name for Michael Bavacqua?
No, he doesn't.
Your Honor, it's your assignment. It's your assignment today. We need to come out with a fun name. If we've gone through everything that we've gone through in the last year, just with Kelly, Marsh, Titano, and the 19th floor, Bavacqua needs to have a Tall Tales fun name. But anyway, so we've got he invited me to like on Facebook the Fonogi correlation. What is it? Commission? Fonogi?
Coalition?
Coalition.
Yeah.
And I did. So the second they come out with an opportunity for poetry slamming, it's going to be right. I will have that information and be able to share it with you as quick as possible. Mona Silva's been sitting around going, is it 8:30 yet, since about 6 o'clock this morning? And the good news for her is, yes, we finally... What? Turn your microphone on. I can't hear you.
Oh. I already checked out. Good thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, your shirt would be inside out.
Yeah, I did that again. It's dark at my house when I get dressed, and it's not like I got somebody looking over my shoulder. It's not like I've got some kind of a life companion there checking my clothes every time I leave and I can't find the dog.
I'm here
so
to check you every day.
Appreciate it. It's 8:32 in the morning. Make me soup when I'm old. It's 8:32 and time for our last look at news. Now put together from headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here is Mona Silva Tyron.
Well, you heard it here first. Congress has passed the National Defense Authorization Act, and included in that is a provision that would allow H-2B labor for civilian projects here. Currently, H-2B labor has been limited primarily to military projects. It'll be sent to the Senate, and Congressman Mike Sinichlis is hoping that the act will stay intact in the Senate as it has won bipartisan support in the House. Deliberations begin today in the murder trial of Brandon Acosta, who was charged in the 2018 murder and rape of 15-year-old Tamika Nauta. Closing arguments were held on Monday. If he's convicted, Acosta faces life in prison. And Public Health will be doing a mass testing today at Tamuning Elementary School. You can expect a long line of traffic. The testing will be from 9 until noon. They'll be at the Asan Maina Mayor's office tomorrow. And a groundbreaking ceremony will be held next week for the rehabilitation of the airport's runway. The project covers 1,500 linear feet, a portion of which was originally constructed in the early 50s. And those are your headlines from the Guam Daily Post. For more on these stories, pick up a copy of the paper, log on to their website at postguam.com.
Oh, this is going to be beyond annoying. So I was talking about Tinkerbell a second ago. There's going to be a roundtable briefing from the Department of Parks and Recreation tonight at 5. It'll be a Zoom conference.
Okay.
It'll be a Zoom conference. It's going to be on television. You can participate, written testimony, yada, yada, yada. A virtual Department of Parks and Recreation informational roundtable briefing that is going to be taking place again at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, this is going to be...
Anything specific? Or
I don't know. Well, I mean, what...
A roundtable to talk about stuff?
Well, outside of what Jeff may or may not be able to do is, what is he, number 2 guy, acting number 2, number 1?
He's the acting number 1 over at Parks and Rec.
Is that
but
still
He's still the number
there?
2 at DPW.
Okay, because here's the thing. I don't know to what degree he's going to be responsible for all of this stuff, but somebody at Parks and Rec needs to answer for why the Agana swimming pool. As far as I know, nothing has happened with that since the beginning of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
There's the only water in it is down at the deep end, a little bit of green water. I don't know what's going to be happening. I think they're going to, like they're doing with Guam Memorial Hospital, just throw up their hands and say, let's make a new one.
You might want to talk to him because I think that is in the long-term plan is to make a new Agana pool, because if you think about the land that it's built on, you're constantly going to be putting money into the renovations and fixing things like cracks, and so it might make sense to build a whole new pool.
that would be a good argument, except you remember the one that they built up in Dededo,
yeah,
which at the time, like 2 years ago, state of the art, right? And that's fallen to pieces as well. So, I mean, buying you guys something new, and you're not going to maintain it. You're not going to charge appropriately so that we can bring in money for experienced people and chlorine and salt tabs and all of that stuff. It won't do us any good. So, my mind, I'm like, never mind. Just bulldoze. Let's give it to Johnny Atulai, and we'll make a tilapia farm out of the thing.
I'm down for that, too.
We could actually make money on it.
And shrimp.
Right?
Tiger prawns.
I'm just thinking there got to be something else we can do with it instead of pretending like we're going to have a swimming pool for our Olympic training in the downtown Agana area. Anyway, 8:35 in the morning. That's iConnect time. iConnect's waiting for you. They've been going, Ray. You've been plugging us all morning long. The phone calls need to pour in. So would you do me a favor? If you've got questions about your plan, or you want a great new plan and a great new phone to go along with it, start with the phone call, 888-8888, and make your appointment to go talk to somebody at the iConnect at the Micronesia Mall.
Everyone has a busy schedule these days, and sometimes we forget to schedule our routine dental checkup and cleaning. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule one today with Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile team, conveniently located at the East West Business Center on Marine Drive, Upper Tumon. Call us today at 647-8702 or 3. Again, that's 647-8702 or 647-8703. We make smiles happen.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch! That's just what we did with our new state-of-the-art mobile banking app as we celebrate 66 years of serving our island communities. It's loaded with a ton of new user-friendly features, including remote deposit capture. It's another way of saying you don't have to come to the bank to go to the bank. And if you want to come to the bank, we're happy to see your smiling face as long as you wear a mask. And we don't have long lines. Bank Pacific Rosebud branches, we place roots, and we're rooting for you. Member FDIC.
8:37. Here it is. A quick look at traffic here. I'm going to try to do it quick because I got Joey from the Freedom Grinders on the line. And I got a little bit of traffic down in Big Navy in Sumai. A lot of traffic down there yesterday because that's where one of the Freedom Riders and the marches took off from. So we got a little bit of that happening down in the Sumai area. Let me just scooch north and see what we can find as we get into PD and Essen, Maina, and Agana. Doesn't look like there's too much over at the at Adelup Place. A little bit of traffic getting into and out of the downtown Agana area right now. No major surprises there. No major surprise. We got a little bit of traffic over by Cars Plus up in Mighty. And then we've got the other intersections that are going to slow you down. What's this? Where is this? What are you talking about in Upper Tumon? Is this near Kmart? Yeah, a little bit of traffic over by, this has been working like that all morning long over by GTA. Don't know what it is, but expect some delays as you're making your way through there. Maybe they're doing a little bit of road construction, and I'll zoom all the way out because I need to get up to Anderson Air Force Base and see if that's settled down, and it has. That's right now traffic. This is the point.
When you can do what you need to do from wherever you are, why wouldn't you? The Going Online Together partners encourage you to explore all the ways you can safely, securely, and conveniently go digital. Pay bills, check account balances, register for services, and much more. And don't worry, when you practice safe online activity, you can trust that your personal information is secure. Be part of the new norm, make life easier, and join in the movement of going online together.
Mount Carmel's preschool, kindergarten, elementary, and middle school classes are all set to reopen next month. The crediting teams came by and said, you guys are the best. Absolutely, it's true. The highest scores, maximum 6-year term possible. MCS academics and programs continue to win awards on Guam and internationally. So register your children today. And enjoy the best in-classroom or distance learning possible. After-school programs are available at 565-5128. Oh, yeah, there's one more. Oh, yeah. I know. No, I got it. It's the guys over at FHP. They've got their urgent healthcare system going, and they're open like every single day. Who knows when you're going to step on a nail or cut yourself on broken glass? Swing by FHP's Health Center, now open later for you, 8 to 8 Monday through Saturdays, 10 until 6 on Sundays. FHP, Our Island, your clinic. I'll find it. My buddy Renee going, hey, wait a second. Don't we have a couple of things happening today? There might be some traffic over by Tooling Elementary. I think that's where there's one of those testing things going on. So that might be slowing you down if you're in that area. 8:40 in the morning, or as we say in the broadcasting industry, 20 minutes away from the hour of 9 o'clock in the morning. It's not that I woke up late. I was going to be up in Jigo, Anderson Air Force Base, and then head down to EPAL. That was gonna be my Tuesday liberation run, but I didn't have the infrastructure. And when I say infrastructure, basically I mean somebody that I can order to pick me up at EPAL and take me back to my car at Anderson Air Force Base. Otherwise, it would have been there. But EPAL was busy anyway. As I was getting on EPAL Road, coming in from 76 Circle K, I noticed that it looked like a gang of cyclists that were making their way from the EPAL area to Marine Corps Drive. And I thought out loud to myself, I wonder if that's the Freedom Grinders and Got You Back guys. Joey's on the line. Just want to get a debrief on how everything went yesterday. Was that wave of cyclists your guys?
Happy Ray, it definitely was.
Definitely was.
Yes, sir.
There must have been hundreds of you.
I believe our unofficial count was probably about 120 to about 130 cyclists, not including the foot marchers that participated yesterday.
That's awesome. And no numbers on the foot soldier guys?
I believe there was about 30 foot marchers that participated, both military service members, veterans, and families.
I think that's absolutely incredible. I thought I noticed a couple of folks that are running for political office getting their ruck on, as it were, headed in one direction or the other. As I was leaving Tumon, as I was leaving that part of the island, headed home on Marine Corps Drive, couldn't help but notice that there were a number of official-looking vehicles on the road providing some guidance and some protection for the cyclists and the walkers on Marine Corps Drive that were still headed towards EPAL Beach.
Yes, we had a very great support from the mayor's office of Jigo. We also had Guam Fire and GPD escorting us throughout the whole entire route. So definitely like to thank those agencies, and especially the Jigo mayor from following us from the beginning all the way to the end.
Yeah, I was delighted because it was very, very obvious to anybody that was watching that there was, they might not see them all together at the same time, but the sheer number of guys on bikes, the sheer number of guys in rucks that were walking, and in fact, a friend of mine, Lauren Michelle, who actually ran and she did the hard one. She ran from Navy down in Sumai down up to EPAL, and you might be going, well, how hard is that? You get to get through most of that. It's kind of flat or whatever. But once you get to about where Bank Pacific is on Marine Corps Drive, it's uphill from there, up the hill behind St. Anthony and up to, and then you got to get past the Archbishop Circle. Then it's downhill to the thing. And she's not an old school runner. She just started like this year. So I'm really, really proud of her and the effort, and everybody else that decided that they were either going to run or walk or ride. No injuries. Nobody got in trouble.
No, so far we haven't got anyone that, or any notice that anyone was injured during the ride. We had so much support, so much family support. If some of the marchers needed to take a break, there was a vehicle or a truck that kind of took them to the next rally point and dropped them off there. You know, they consolidated, reorganized. And then when they found the energy, they got back on the road and just joined us again.
I tell you what, I'm really proud of you guys for the effort. One question about how everything ended up. As I said, it was a pincher attack. We had one side coming in from the south and another side coming into the north, all of them congregating, and the ultimate rally point was over at Epal Beach Park. Now, when I left that morning, when I left yesterday morning, the area was already crowded. What did you guys end up doing down at Epal?
So, man, when both North and South groups combined, we filled up that entire Epal Beach Road. I mean, we took both lanes up and were escorted by GPD, the Jigo Mayor's office, and other officials. And as we came down, of course, you know, we were greeted by family members, friends, beachgoers. And then, of course, we had the president of GY671 give his little spill and thanks, you know, to everyone that participated. And then we took one big group picture. And after that, there were refreshments and definitely a lot of hydration beverages inside the cooler.
Yeah, I'm sure of it. I'm wondering how many people that, you know, they got there as part of the liberation activity and just stayed all the rest of the day because it got to be Liberation Day and what the heck, I'm here already. I know that I guarantee there was barbecuing going on. And I'm sure there was just coolers were filled all day.
It was, you know, I believe our last group maybe left at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
I'm like, yep, that sounds about right. Sounds about.
I was looking for you, just to let you know.
There's work tomorrow, so yeah, everybody had to take off. Well, like I said, I'm really, really proud of you guys. I mean, it's a group that I only started hearing about in the last couple of weeks, and now we got you on the newspapers. We're talking to you on the radio, and it's going to be social media and all of that. What's next planned for you guys? What do you think you might want to be doing as we get closer to back to school and into the fall of 2020?
So, you know, a bunch of the guys and I, we just sat down and said, hey, what's our next, you know, we're going to continue doing the coastal cleanups. We're going to hit up different parks. We're going to get, more trash bins out because we realized and noticed that a lot of these beach areas don't have any trash cans or trash bins, you know. So that's going to be something that we're going to continue doing and continuing to beautify the island. There's another bike group. They call themselves the Hollow Bike Group. They want us to do a combined effort and start cleaning up the trails within Two Lovers Point.
Ooh. Never-ending job.
No, it's not a never-ending job. You know, sometimes we just got to take it piece by piece. But that's one. Again, but other than that, we kind of just sit down and talk about what we want to do next, and we kind of put our thoughts together. We plan it, and then we just execute.
Well, look, if there's things that you need from the private sector, I mean, you guys probably have just as good connections than I do, but it's always nice, you know, call up and say, hey, we need, you know, we need more empty oil containers for these trash cans. Where can we find them? Because I'm sure there's you know, with the petroleum companies, there's a ton of them that have got some refuse that's just sitting around somewhere, and you don't have to do too much. You go and scrub them out and you know, put a coat of paint on them and maybe a couple of logos, and you're good to go. You already know how to do one or two. I've seen them already, so imagine doing that on a higher scale. And if you don't have guys that can do that, call up. I'll get you volunteers.
Oh man, that'll be awesome, Ray. You know, the more support from the community, the better. It's just not about the Freedom Grinders. It's about our whole entire island, you know, coming together.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Well, count on my assistance, whatever you need.
Man, Ray, thank you so much.
Hey, no, thank you guys so much. I mean, it's I'm in the cheap seats. All I got to do is talk about it and promote you guys. But you're the ones that are actually out there doing the work. So help me, help you.
Well, yeah, you know, if you have a mountain bike, man, you're more than welcome to join our group.
Dude, my mountain bike. What happened? I don't even remember what happened to my mountain. I think I loaned it to somebody. Now I'd really have to think about what the heck happened to that thing. I don't know. You know, my poison is running. That's my thing. And you know, if I get mountain bike, then I'm going to get saddle sore. I don't know, but I will say that there is something unique about following girls on mountain bikes, and I'm just going to leave that there. You have a terrific rest of the day, and again, congratulations to you and GY671 on an outstanding liberation event yesterday. I hope this is something we can find a way to do every year.
Yes, thank you so much, Ray. Appreciate it.
Welcome, my friend. 888-8255-888-TALK. Now, I come in this morning, and I'm looking over the WhatsApp messages from, I was going to say the weekend, but it wasn't a weekend, and somebody said that they had heard, as an unverified rumor, that Matt Murphy may have been arrested for breaking quarantine. They might have come up and found him and actually arrested him. And that's why Matt Murphy is on line 2 this morning. Hey, bud, how you doing?
Okay, Ray. Okay, Guam.
Were you arrested? Did the FBI come and get you?
No, GPD. Well, what happened, I had been talking with the Guam Army National Guard and Chima, who's in charge of the quarantine. I spoke with Chima on Friday afternoon about 5 o'clock. He was waiting for San Augustine to come back from a meeting in Adelup.
That's St. Augustine, the guy that runs public health now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I was dealing with the top-notch guy. I happened to get his cell number, and Chima was real nice. He sympathized with me, but didn't really understand the part with the anxiety and me leaving and then not wanting to go back because I had the COVID-free test done at GMH in 2 minutes. So everyone's saying, yeah, come back. It's okay to come back and get your stuff. And I said, well, I really don't want to go back. I'm going to send Luke. And they said, no, it has to be you. So for 3 or 4 days, I mulled it over. Then yesterday, the day before yesterday, Liberation Day Eve, I go down there, and of course they all lied to me, and they handcuffed me and threw me in the unair-conditioned steel paddy wagon back door where you got to crouch down. I was handcuffed. Cuffs were pretty tight, even though, the woman cop, she had the pleasure of handcuffing Matt Benavente, is her name, Major Benavente, whatever her title was. So I go to Bayview to the new Agania Heights precinct, and I was real civil and real nice. Sergeant Borja said to me as they were shoving me in the little container wagon, Matt, just be mellow like you've always been, and we'll get you back here ASAP. So, 20 photographs and 20 fingerprints later, I was back in the quarantine. Upstairs I went. Chima, when I get back in the paddy wagon, I'm coming out like I'm a hardened criminal.
Sure. Well, you broke quarantine, for God's sakes. This is a a disease that could possibly kill nothing of a percent of the population. You have a disease. No, in fact, you don't have it. But you broke quarantine, and you broke the suspicions that you might have a disease from which 99.9% of the people survive. So, yeah, I can see why they'd want to take a hard look at you, you hard case.
Yeah, and when they took the fingerprints, they said, sit down, and everyone was super nice. The police chief came, thank you for being so cooperative, Matt. What other choice do I have? I want to make the shortest possible experience, right? So they ran it through the nationwide database, came up clean, and they released me back. And then so they opened the door. It's really embarrassing. You're coming out, you're still handcuffed. And there's Chima, the guy from CDC, local Gov Guam, DPHSS. He's the top dog, right, in charge of the quarantine. The Indian man, maybe a doctor. It's really hard to spell his last name, Mbarken. I try to pronounce that. But face shield, rubber gloves, like I've got Ebola or something. So,
but they had already seen. But they had already seen your presumptive negative test.
I had it in my hand with me. I brought it to the precinct. I walked in the door with it to get my stuff because I feared that this would happen. They said, they didn't want to look at it, didn't even want to hear about it. And I had already emailed it to all the precincts, including the head one where they hold me up. They all had a copy of my COVID-free test, but I guess, because I bucked the system or tried to.
Got to go buy the book, buddy. We got to go buy the book. That's not our test. That was GMH's test. You didn't have the one from the Department of Public Health and Social Services. You had one from lowly GMH, Guam Memorial Hospital. Could be anything.
I had another one. I went on Saturday and had a test at AMR on Vietnam Veterans Memorial Highway across from Champion Sporting Goods because I said to myself, maybe the one from GMH isn't good enough. I'm going to get another one. So now I've got 3 COVID-free tests. My nose a little bit sore. Got kind of a headache. They go way up in there. It's kind of annoying. But I had all my bases covered, but they still wouldn't hear it. Nope. Got to go through the motions, and now I got a notice to appear, and I'm looking at it. I guess it's a misdemeanor thing, you know, and it says 8:30 a.m. the 21st of July, 2021.
Oh yeah.
Now I'm thinking, why would it take a year? Is that a typo? So now I'm racing up the Dedado. My heart is racing again to just show up in front of the magistrate and say, "Is this a typo? Is this for today?"
No. That's very common. You're basically on pretrial release. And so they've got they've issued that out here unless things have changed in the last 24 hours. But that's you could assert with a lawyer that you want a speedy trial, and that might do something about it. My guess is that's their version of saying, okay, it's a book and release, and we might call you between here and there, but I wouldn't worry about it.
2021.
Yeah, I think that's there. Thanks for coming by and then kick you back out in the world.
Yep.
Ask Cousin Troy. Cousin Troy has one on him like that, doesn't he? He's got one where he's got when he got picked up by the last administration.
That far out? 1 year?
Oh, I think his is two. His is two. Is it? Yeah.
That's awesome. Great.
So I wouldn't worry about that too much. I wouldn't go racing around. It's not a typo.
I don't want to get back in that uncomfortable, air-conditioned paddy wagon. They have a special one for COVID patients. It's really it's like tight as a drum when you're in there. No air coming in or out. No negative or positive air.
It's just
me,
topping.
myself, and my own breath. That's it.
Yeah. So you never did hear from the new director at DPHSS in Augustin, right?
No, but Chima was nice. Escorted me up, and I had the test done within 5 minutes. At first, I refused it. I said, "I've already got 2 negative tests." Here they are. Why a third? Come on. And then the nurses are there. They're wanting to test me. They got the swab in the hand. And then Chima looks at me, right? He's still got his face mask down and rubber gloves on. He goes, "Matt, you take this test. I'll get you out of here right away today." So I let him. I said, "Okay, test me. I'll take it."
So do you have your stuff now? Did you finally get to Bayview and collect all your stuff?
Yeah, well, I had to spend the night there, so they had me for Liberation Day till about 1 o'clock. So it was very unliberating.
Right.
Incarceration Day is what I was calling it.
Wow. Okay. Well, welcome the criminal justice system brought on by the panic pandemic.
Yeah. Right. And here's what was interesting. I watched 5 more.
Just now it's interesting. Just now what? There's another interesting thing. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a whole other side story. What happened to Laura Farley? She got threatened by this Benevente lady because they came in and wanted to search her room. They thought I was in there hiding, shacking up with her, shacking up with my a retired Green Beret's wife. I don't think I'm that stupid, So that's where I was hanging out at Farley's house down south.
Oh my God.
He had Black Guns Matter, and we were just ready to, hey.
I know. Let's not incite the mob here, Matt. Listen, I appreciate what you've gone through, and now, as I said, welcome to the criminal justice system. But, and I'm going to let you go here. I'll talk to you pretty soon. You take care, and know that your daytime drinking beers. The IPAs. He brought me a 12-pack of them, or 12 of them. I've got 6 in the refrigerator at the house, and the other 6, if he hasn't gone through them already, are in Bob Kelly's refrigerator. Though Hawaii still has its 14-day quarantine mandate in effect for all out-of-state travelers, thousands continue to travel to the Aloha State. Isn't that amazing? And this story, it's not that old, from Fox 8 in Honolulu. However, the Hawaii COVID-19 Joint Information Center says not all travelers have followed the rules. To track everyone, JIC says it's a monumental effort to keep track of everyone who should be in quarantine, and it involves a HUI, it's the Hawaiian word, group of law enforcement agencies, representatives of Hawaii's visitor industry, state transportation workers, and the community generally. In total, 182 people have been arrested on Oahu, Kauai, Maui, and Hawaii Island for violating emergency quarantine rules. HPD says officers have discretion to warn, cite, or arrest based on available facts and circumstances. Currently, the state's teams calling quarantine visitors is made up of 80 workers from the Tourism Authority, HVB, County Civil Defense, and Maui Police. They say they work to call quarantine visitors from 9 to 8 every day, including weekends and holidays. They've contacted well over 27,000 travelers and have made more than 113,000 phone calls. Oh, my God, the bureaucracy. This is how much money. And we're burning through FEMA dough like it's charcoal, right? The quarantine visitors reportedly received calls as many as 3 times during their 2-week-long quarantine. Nearly 7,145 people are still being tracked there, and over 200, I want to say up to 200 people have been arrested for breaking their quarantine. So if you think this is an isolated incident and it only involves Matapang here, no, it involves Matapang, and I think maybe we learned some of this from them. It also involves Matapang coming out of Hawaii. Welcome to Hawaii. You can't go anywhere for 2 weeks, and we're going to clamp down and lock you down, and they will arrest you like you were a child abuser in that town. Just amazing. 9 o'clock in the morning, the radio station's KUSG. I got you 93.3. This is The Point. Got another hour of incredible talk headed in your direction. We'll go over some of the breaking news that we carried this morning that includes the idea that the NDAA, with language that would provide for civilian H-2B work here on Guam, has now passed the House, on its way to the Senate. Mike Sinicholas has got thumbs up. He thinks it's going to sail right through that. Anyway, it's time for the news on The Point.
An update on coronavirus. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. As COVID-19 deaths in the U.S. passed 141,000, President Trump today held a press conference at the White House discussing the growing number of cases. The president saying coronavirus infections would likely get worse before getting better and encouraged the use of face coverings.
We're asking everybody that when you are not able to socially distance, wear a mask, get a mask. Whether you like the mask or not, they have an impact, they'll have an effect, and we need everything we can get.
The president blaming China for allowing the virus to spread around the world, but adding he would cooperate with Beijing or anyone else in developing a vaccine. The Justice Department says hackers working with the Chinese government have targeted firms developing coronavirus vaccines, stealing millions of dollars worth of trade secrets and other information. Criminal charges have been filed for trade secret theft and wire fraud. President Trump today signing a memorandum designed to prevent migrants in the country illegally from being counted when congressional voting districts are redrawn following this year's census. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer blasting the action as a political move meant to please the president's supporters in the upcoming election.
Attempting to weaponize the census for political gain is yet another racially driven attack by a president and an administration that wrongly views immigrants as the enemy when they are a vital part of our society.
The Supreme Court has previously ruled against a citizenship question on the census. President Trump today threatening to veto this year's defense spending bill if it contains a provision to remove the names of Confederate leaders from military facilities. The president also disagreeing with potential limits on spending in Afghanistan. The defense bill is expected to see action in Congress later this year. America is listening to Fox News.
Hafa, this is Carl from APL Guam. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future. Whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community, our dedicated team in Guam and on the U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit apl.com.
The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts of Guam Training.
Hi, I'm Jerry Roberts, and every day on The Ray Gibson Show, I get to comment on the incredibly diverse, fun, challenging, sometimes frustrating, often exciting, but always interesting world of work. I hope you'll be there with us.
You can find daily transcripts of The Extra Point at guamtraining.com. Tune in every weekday morning at 7:20 for The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts, brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank on 93.3 The Point.
Pharmaceutical companies telling lawmakers today they won't compromise safety in their efforts to develop a coronavirus vaccine.
House Energy and Commerce Committee Chairman Democrat Frank Pallone says he's concerned President Trump will pressure the Food and Drug Administration to approve an ineffective vaccine. Manelis Pangalos with AstraZeneca told lawmakers all vaccine data will be published for the world to see.
Remember, this is going to be a vaccine that is going to be used globally, so every regulatory authority is going to have a view on the efficacy and safety of our vaccine.
The president has been hoping for a vaccine by the November election or the end of the year under his administration's program, Operation Warp Speed. Rachel Sutherland, Fox News.
President Trump is expected to deploy federal agents to Chicago and possibly other Democrat-run cities as he continues to assert federal power and use the Department of Homeland Security to quell sometimes violent protests. Officials in Chicago, New York, and other cities have vowed to fight the deployment of the agents, which are traditionally used to investigate human trafficking, drugs, and weapons smuggling. The Navy is conducting several large-scale military exercises in Asia.
The U.S. Navy says it's holding not one, but two large naval drills in Asian waters with Australian, Indian, and Japanese allies. The war games come days after the U.S. sailed two aircraft carrier strike groups, the USS Ronald Reagan and Nimitz, through the South China Sea in a message to Beijing. Defense Secretary Mark Esper said, quote, "We're not going to be stopped by anybody." At the Pentagon, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
A Detroit police corporal accused of shooting 3 photojournalists with rubber pellets while they covered a racial inequality protest in the city is now charged with felony assault. Prosecutors say Daniel DeBono faces several counts of felonious assault from the May protest. I'm Rich Dennison, and this is Fox News.
Are you fed up with those long bank lines? Do you wish you had a bank who gave you faster service? Well, by enrolling in Bank Pacific's new mobile app, you don't even need to wait in line. But even if you do want to come down in person, we're more than happy to see your smiling face, as long as you have a mask. Because our service is so good, we don't believe in lines. Because for 66 years, we've been making sure you get the service you deserve. Because where others put branches, we place roots. And we're rooting for you. Member FDIC.
You've got a job to do. Having the right equipment for the job is critical, and East West Rental has the exact tools you need. Get it done faster with the right stuff, whether it's landscaping tools, concrete tools, lifts, trucks, lights, generators, trench boxes, welders, tents, tables, and chairs. They're here to help you tackle any project you're working on, big or small. Open Monday to Saturday, 7 to 5, closed Sundays. Find what you're looking for at East West Rental Center in Upper Tumont, or call 646-1463. 6 after 9 o'clock in the morning. And so here's the thing. Joe says, coming out of the break, is you got to do that read for Chili's. They got that crispy rib thing, right? It's crispy Texas-sized ribs. Have them, it's fried chicken batter that goes on the ribs. And you're going, okay, that sounds interesting. When you bite into it, the crunch absolutely sounds interesting. And the flavor, the slide off the bone goodness of the rib, that will have you going back, as I have, for seconds. Have it as an appetizer. You can get some sides, and now all of a sudden it's an entree. Dine in or check out the WhatsApp on Chili's, 929-7376 for a go order. Chili's on the second floor of the Tumont Sands Plaza. Now, the reason why I sound like I'm conflicted in my head is because I am. You know, I've got this video. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'll play it today. But here's the thing, and only guys in talk radio know this, is when you go from regular talk into something longer form, 60-second piece, 2.5-minute piece, whatever, that I always feel like, that's it, I gave up. I've run out of stuff to talk about. I've run out of things that I can riff on. And the only thing I can do, I've got this 4 or 5 minute piece of video that I did with Jed. I can play that, and that'll give me time to get my thoughts together and figure out how I'm going to kill another hour of talk radio. That's not the way. It's clearly, and anybody's listening to this program on my driest of days, going, oh, no. There's always something that Ray can talk about. So I don't know. There's a positive. So if I do play it, it will be an homage, a tribute to, number one, some great clients. Number two, to some fantastic food they've got there. Now, if you're wondering what it is I'm talking about, go somewhere else on the Point page is a link to that video, so you can watch it kind of on your own. Not now. Don't do it now. You're supposed to be watching me now. And do me a favor. Hit the share button. I mean, it sounded like it was in order, right? Do me a favor. You will do me this favor. There's a share button on whatever it is that you're watching. Do me a favor. Please click that button and let everybody know that this is the spot that you go to. Certainly get all the news, breaking news at that, with interpretation, riffing, and whatever with me and Real Joe and baby sister Monasilva Tyron. And let's see, how well do I want to say this as well? Let me think. 8 after 9. The PDN's got their Pika thing coming up. And their Pika thing is going to be, they've added or re-added, because it was there before. I think favorite radio station or favorite radio show or something like that. And they called me up and they said, want to buy a logo? $99, you buy a logo. I said, I'll sell you my logo for $100. You want to use it, make it $200, right? And I'm going, well, I don't know. Do I want to participate in this? Do I want, because you seen those guys? What do you think? That's organic?
Yeah.
You think that's organic? That's everybody going on Facebook, and every chance they get. Oh, and don't forget to vote for us in Pika. Don't forget to vote for us in Pika. So that's what they want me to do. That's what they're asking me. They want me to every 20 minutes say, "Hey, put us down. If go to Pika, whatever it is in the PDN news site, and put down that we are your favorite radio station." So that they can get a lot of clicks and they can go to their advertisers and say, see, everybody loves this. This is a big thing. Everybody's participating in this. They're here. Even the guys in the radio are talking about us. Yeah, so I don't know about that. But if anybody does ask you who your favorite is and you say me, thanks very much. I appreciate it. There's a lot of other entertainment and information choices here on Guam. There are plenty more when you consider Pandora's and Spotify's and TED Talks and YouTube and all of that. So the fact that you're listening to me on the radio, the fact that you're watching me on Facebook, YouTube, or whatever it is that you got, it means a lot to me. Thank you very much, Everett. You don't have to tell PDN that I'm your favorite for me to know that I'm your favorite. But if you do, see, that's me walking it back. But if you do, don't look for the logo. 10 after 9 o'clock in the morning. Do I need to be right back or can I just go?
You can go.
I just go.
You're going good.
I just go then. All right, sweet. 10 after 9 o'clock in the morning. I got this from Isa Baza. Isa, I saw you running yesterday. I saw you running out on the road yesterday. It was right as I was finishing up mine. And I don't. Have you ever had this, guys, where you're like working out on you're doing your jogging, you're doing your running thing, and you're done, right? You've done your 5, and you get back to the car and you're drinking water, holding the jug upside down. It's just using a gravity feed for water into your face. And then you see somebody running by and you go, I wonder if I've got another mile in me. Yeah, that's what it was yesterday. Anyway, maybe I say too much on the air. Do you say, is that possible?
Oh, no.
Happening, good morning. The superintendent and management team will be conducting a presentation to the Chamber of Commerce this morning at 10 regarding the new school year. Media is welcome to join in and watch at the following link, and then they've got a GoToWebinar link, a virtual meeting / presentation, so we don't actually have to be at the Chamber of Commerce to see what's going down. We can get in a GoToMeeting thing and record it and see what it is that they're going to be talking about. I don't know. I'm not 100%. With all the things that they're talking about in the going back to school, and you hear the guys in talk radio in the States talking about this as well. Oh, can I give you one other thing? Can I just, while I'm crowing about how great we are, there's the top 5 talk show hosts in the country, and 4 of them are on this radio station. And the only reason why we don't have the 5th is because they insist on me running all 3 hours of his show. And frankly, it's tough to do because we already got a lot of great programs. But you got Rush Limbaugh, Dave Ramsey, and number 1 is Sean Hannity.
Yeah.
The guy that comes on after Tall Tales is like number 1 in the country. And then there's, I want to say it's the guy from Coast to Coast, George Norrie, and like I said, that one other guy. So if you want like the absolute best in mainland talk radio programming, this is the station for you. So I was going to say, but you get these guys talking in the mainland talk shows, and it's a common topic. It's a common thread because people have kids. People have got somebody that they know that has kids that has to go to a hospital school, and we're all trying to figure out how we're going to open things up for them. And, what are the big concerns is the kids will get sick. Well, I mean, science these days tells us that kids aren't generally as susceptible to the hardcore, oh, my God, it's going to kill every single one of them, coronavirus, that older, compromised people are. And they say, well, just open up the schools. And they say, well, what about the older compromised teachers? And there's at least one or two people saying, it's time to retire, time to do something else, or maybe drive online classes. Maybe that's what you're going to do. Well, what about the kids that they're going to get sick with they'll have the coronavirus. They might not be sick of it, but they'll have it, and they'll go and poison grandma and grandpa at the house. And the line of thinking on that is, well, there's a lot of places that have already done the behavior modification, and grandma and grandpa don't see the grandkids much anymore, because they've maximized that social distancing. So is it possible that we can have a conversation about just opening up the schools, just like we did, like it was in the beginning of the school year last year? Go to Kmart, get some filler paper and some pencils and some pens and clear backpacks or whatever it is, and get those kids back to school. What about the buses? Never mind the buses, right? Don't make sure it's not some old, compromised guy driving the bus. I think we ought to be okay. There's a lot of places in the world that have done exactly that. They seem to be doing all right so far. 9:14 in the morning. So there's the ponderous nature of all of this, and maybe we're making too much about all these different hybrid possibilities for what this new school year is going to be like. And as much as we're trying to satisfy all of the different concerns and all of the different possibilities that may come out, we might just be just throwing in. There's just too many accommodations and too much trying to meet everybody's suspicions and everybody's needs, where it's just not going to work for anybody. 9:15 in the morning, the Ray Gibson Show, until it's not going to be. And my buddy Jack. Good morning, Jack.
Raymond, how are you?
You know what? I'm okay. I was okay after pondering the liberation and the sacrifices that my grandmother, my grandfather, and other members of the family, in fact, the entire island of Guam, made during the occupation by the Japanese, and what we've still to be thankful for as they came through that with the Marines and the Navy and those that liberated Guam on the 21st of July in 1944.
Well, happy Liberation Day to you and to the whole island. Real quick, it was really...
No, you don't have to be fast because you're early. Normally you need to be quick because you call in at 10 to 10.
Oh, okay. Well, I've been working and stuff, but I've been listening to your last guest before the hour, how he got 5 pre-test COVID tests done. And this is really the big problem, is because if you remember, it was back in February when we had this discussion about the numbers coming out of China and how it's too low, the death rates, and, you could point back when they started, even when they took influenza, the regular influenza, how many people died in China due to influenza was just way too low. It was like almost non-existent. And the same thing with this Wuhan virus. But real quick, here's the problem I think we have in the States is your caller had done 5 tests. There should be a database that once you take that test, I mean, why are you coming back, a second, a third, a fourth, fifth time? And why, if you leave one jurisdiction, you have to test again into the other jurisdiction? This is a big problem, because if people who want to stay out of work, people who don't like this president, if they want to torpedo and make everything, they could just jump one state to another, one jurisdiction to another.
Oh, yeah.
If they're positive. And so what is the formula and methodology are they using to count? And, what is the discretion number and everything? Because my son attends Boston University, and if you're familiar with the East Coast, you could 1 hour could take you through 3 different states.
Yeah. And so you go and you get tested positive in all 3 of those places, and that all contributes to a national count.
Yeah. So, this is a big problem that we have. And never mind how many people died because of it. You have too many medical and health care providers with credibility that says, hey, this person came in, was killed in a motorcycle accident, and because they had COVID, it's listed under a COVID death.
That actually happened.
This is ridiculous. So, I'm worried. I have people in my care that are really, I'm doing the best that I can. But what the government is doing, it just doesn't make much sense anymore. It doesn't how they're doing it, how they're going about doing it. What is the criteria? If you ask me what has Safe Distancing has done here for Guam, I could honestly tell you it probably lowered the rate of chlamydia. That's about it. But I'm serious.
Chlamydia, I don't want that again.
Didn't we medal in competition in chlamydia a couple of years ago?
We were number one. We were number one, but in true fashion, they said that wasn't us. It was it wasn't the local population. It was the immigrant population.
Well, regardless, we brought home an Olympic medal on that event. But if anything else, I can honestly tell you that probably it did something to the chlamydia rate and lowered it. And I think that's a good sign or a good thing, and we should be proud of it. I wonder if they even testing for chlamydia or even keeping track of it now that everybody's on the Wuhan virus.
There's the other thing is how many of these other diseases are boiling up, and we're not seeing that because that's not what we're looking at. Somebody was asking about how mosquitoes. One of the programs yesterday was talking about how mosquitoes are getting a break, and because we're spending so much time with this Wuhan, we're not killing as many bugs as we used to, and mosquitoes will kill more people on the planet than any 5 viruses you care to name right now. It is easily one of the biggest reasons for mortality on the entire planet is the number of people that will catch some kind of a disease from getting getting stuck by a mosquito out there. And it's not a third world problem. We had our issues with dengue last year.
Yeah, and
West Nile, there's another one, and that's the vector.
And I want you to put this on your list of things to keep an eye on.
Mm-hmm.
China has had floods. It's like I think it was world record floods, and there's a lot of concern about the flooding areas in China. What's it doing to the major cities? But at the same time, where they grow their crops, there's a drought and there's locusts. And so I'm worried about the price of goods because we get a lot of our produce and stuff like that. I think about an equal amount from the U.S. and Asia, but probably more from Asia. I'm seeing a lot of our shelves empty. I'm seeing price of goods where the produce or meat's going up really a little bit too much. I'm really concerned about what are we doing for our food supplies and stuff like that. It's not a long distance issue anymore.
No. Really everything is local. Yeah, everything is local. I got a story here from the National Retail Federation, and in fact, it's been in my pile to talk about for a couple of days. The impact of Wuhan at major U.S. retail container ports appears to be easing slightly, with projected imports remaining below last year's levels, but not as much as previously forecast. The numbers we're seeing are still below last year, but are better than what we expected just a month ago. It may still be too soon to say, but we'll take this as a sign that the situation could slowly be starting to improve. Consumers want to get back to shopping, and as more people are back to work, retailers want to make sure that their shelves are stocked. But they were looking at some of the numbers of inbound shipments coming from places like China declining significantly, and that will lead to problems with supply. If the goods are manufactured in China and they're not on those shipping containers, then there's going to strike some. There will be demand for them, invisible, and low supply, high demand equals higher prices.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm really concerned about the food stuff. So, anything, of just the necessities and things like that. But I also wanted to say that my friend works in the Midwest, and they do agriculture, and they got big orders for corn and for pork coming in from China.
Yeah.
And it's not. I don't know how it's going to affect us. I think everything's going to pretty much go up. We could go see our shelves and stuff like that, even our fresh produce and our chilled meats. And these things are my concern. But I wanted to ask you a question.
Well, we'll be careful here. We'll start talking about food, and there's stuff that comes out of China. There's stuff that comes out of the American breadbasket. But one of my great annoyances has been we don't get as much as we probably could from Australia. Australia's not that far away. It's not by sailing days isn't that far away, and it would be. They've got places like Atherton and Cairns, and they've got some very, very serious agricultural zones that they've got there. But we don't generally, and it probably has something to do with some old school politics or some kind of tariff. One guy didn't like another guy, and so we just don't buy anything from there anymore. But there's a breadbasket in Australia that we ought to participate in if it came to bullets.
Even Korea and Japan. I mean,
okay.
we have,
dude.
We could get.
Dude,
but
Tinian used to be the breadbasket for Japan. There's all kinds of pork and poultry and cattle were raised up in Tinian for years.
Yeah, remember the Tinian milk from Payless or J&G that used to come up there. They used to have a dairy farm. But anyways,
I remember eating Tinian beef.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you this question. I want to maximize the back of my yard. You know, I sell over at the flea market. So, you know, I love taro. But the thing is, it takes up a lot of space.
Sure
so
does.
I really concentrate on stuff that I could farrow and turn over. So what would be something locally that you would like to see in your produce market consistently?
I'm always happy to see sigaritas, the wing beans.
Yeah.
In fact, I prefer wing beans to string beans in my tinactac.
Okay.
So I like that, and well, I want to say now the cool thing about that is that grows on a vine. That doesn't grow out of the ground. It won't grow. You grow that. It's aerial.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, so you could do that on top, and then on the bottom maybe some little cherry tomatoes. I don't know that we get enough of those things. I know a lot of people a lot of the tea shops on Guam that get their calamansi from a concentrate that comes out of the Philippines. Generally, a lot easier to do, but their preference is local calamansi.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm looking at stuff that you would buy at your local grocery store like every day. I mean, if you come in there, I need a pound of this, or I need a batch of that. So I'm just looking to just maximize the square footage that I have, or the square inches, square centimeters. There we
go. Real Joe's recommendation, and James Howard's yelling at his TV, going, "It's marijuana. Grow marijuana."
No, that doesn't do anything for your food and stuff like that. But anyways, I just wanted to put that out there. Just yell it on. I mean, just recite it. Right now, like I said, I'm growing a lot of stuff that is gone that same day. So I just want to maximize the space that I have behind my house and just grant some stuff local and start giving what the public needs.
There's you've got different spaces to exploit. Like I said, you can go aerial, and there's beans there's a Filipino kind of bean that you can get that you can grow.
So anyways, keep alert.
Yeah.
On the flooding that's going on in China, and then again they have a drought problem where they grow their crops and a locust problem. So those things will drive the Asian markets out because unless China starts writing bad checks, the government, they're going to be the first ones to come in there with their load of money and try to buy up those crops for their reserves, because the way that it sounds is like their reserves are non-existent.
Might have dried up. Okay, gotcha. I'll ponder all of that stuff. One more website to go and visit before the end of the day and before the end of the broadcast. Currently 926 888-8255 888-TALK is the telephone number. Rudy Magallanes this morning says, Ray, have you heard about Christopher Paris, the guy who scammed the Veterans Office for $750 million from COVID-19? No, I did not. But as you know, along with the suggestions from Jack, there's another place that I might be able to find and on the World Wide Web and go to. So, can you hold on a second? I keep meaning to talk about this as well because it's I've actually put it up on the website, and I was going to talk about it Monday, but I was all giddy and excited about having a middle of the week vacation, which, my friends, we need more of. I just want to say this right now, and you might be thinking, "Oh, Ray just wants to party all night on Monday, and then goof off and party up until sunset on Tuesday." Yeah, whatever. Don't judge me. But as far as Monday night was concerned, there was no place to go. There was no place to go because it's like it was all of a sudden everybody was like, we'd normally be doing something for Liberation. We didn't plan on doing anything on Liberation Monday. So, yeah, you go to work and you go eat. And unless you were, one of the countless people that absolutely must go to Tsubaki. You notice that Tsubaki has become the new Jollibee?
Yeah.
Everybody has to go there. Everybody's got to try the buffet, and everybody's got to take a picture. Everybody got to shoot video of their little water thing. Like you're the first one to ever take a video of that and post it up on Facebook. Keep it up. No, it's okay. I'm excited because it's nice it's nice that we have some new shiny, especially because there's all this pent up demand for shiny in the last years. There's nothing wrong with that. But outside of that, I honestly couldn't. I went and hung out with some friends at a location venue. And then I remembered that Carabao was open. I got in there 5 minutes before they closed, so I was able to get a beer. And I'm going, okay, well, what the heck? It's not like after this I can go dance. It's not like after this we're going to go hit the club, man, Monday night because there's no work on Tuesday. Get up on Tuesday, go run. Took care of some yard work for the rest of the day and managed to, I don't know, have a couple of honey kolsch's and called it a day. So not much of a huge liberation day for me. As much as as there was a lot of thinking going on, a lot of the thinking going in to try to sort out what things are going to be like here in the future. A lot of changes with the COVID, a lot of changes in my industry, as it were, in the entertainment business here on Guam. And I don't know when it's going to end or what it's going to feel like when it does end, if it ends. But keep your eye out. Change is not necessarily bad. Competition is not necessarily bad, but it'll be interesting. So today's listener poll, our online listener poll, goes along with something that the guys over at 76 Circle K, I was talking with Jerry Roberts about this. 76 Circle K, you can now go in there and buy a coffee cup or a cup of coffee. Now, the coffee cup you choose could have some meaning, so choose wisely. We have a coffee cup for Joe Biden. We have a coffee cup for Donald Trump. And that's the 76 Circle K straw poll to determine who we think might be the stronger vote getter in the upcoming national election between presumably Joe Biden, and Donald Trump. Online poll at thepoint.gu. Please name our next president. Is it Donald Trump? Is it Joe Biden? Or is it? I left a third choice, and unfortunately, they haven't done that at 76 Circle K. The third choice is, really? Can I have another option?
Kanye West.
Kanye. All of our hopes. Obi-Wan Kanye. Obi-Wan Kanye. You're our only hope. I don't know about that. I don't know. But I don't know if there's anybody else. Is there anybody interesting out there that you would ponder would make a great president? It's like Biden. I'm still trying to figure out why they keep pushing Biden. Why they keep pushing him out there. I mean, I'm going, you've been in politics for years. We have a race problem apparently in the United States of America. You were the vice president for the first black president in the history of the country. How is it possible that there's still a problem? I don't. And how are you going to fix it with all of the opportunities that you had over the years to fix it? Being the vice president, the first black president, all of these different if there were some problems, if there were green shoots of racism in this country, why weren't they put down by the previous administration? But no, clearly everything is Donald Trump's fault. But even Donald Trump is not the most magical person in the world. I will tell you, it was with a great degree of disappointment where Donald Trump. And I thought we were peas in a pod. I thought we were simpatico. Here I am blaming the CDC, Richard Fauci, WHO, for all of the problems with the coronavirus. I thought we were through all of that. It's all politics. Donald Trump yesterday came out and said, coronavirus is going to get worse before it gets better. Huh? What? That's not what you and I weren't saying that last week. And he said, wearing a mask is now patriotic. And that's where I'm going to take, I separate now from still not ready to put in my hat for Joe Biden. But the president saying that wearing a mask is now a patriotic thing?
Strategy.
I can only hope. I can only hope. I think maybe that's the thing. He's gonna call out. This is a test. True believers, this is a test. Don't fall for it. You're just being tested. He just wants to make sure that I'm sure when he said it, there was a wink. It's okay. It's okay, conservatives. I got you back on this one here. I want to fake out Biden and those guys and the swamp guys and the evil media of this country that has handed out for the guy ever since he was, it's even before the inauguration. I like one of my favorite new headlines. CNN is pushing this narrative around, which is even if the vote comes in and President Trump isn't satisfied with the vote, he's going to fight it. And I'm going, you mean like Hillary Clinton did 4 years ago? You remember when, wait a second. She was all critical of him because he said, yeah, we'd review the numbers. We'd take a hard look at it if we lost. We'd question the numbers. And she was like, oh, my God, what an affront to the American people and the Electoral College. How dare you? How dare you? And then the president won, and the people of Guam, the people of the country elected Donald Trump to be the president, and Hillary Clinton, and all of her followers freaked out. It's still one of my favorite videos. Somebody's got it. Somebody's got to find it as we get closer and closer. It should be uploaded to Twitter every single day. Is the one where they make the announcements. That she lost and he won, and she couldn't even come out. She couldn't even come out with a concession speech. Remember, she sent his guy. She sent her guy out. Yeah, everybody go to bed. Hillary's retiring for the night. A little bit late for any kind of conversation. Just go back to bed. It'll be all right. We'll get back to you in the morning. And then it was all of these big convention halls and rooms, and they had balloons. They had balloons. And fireworks. And all we were going to do is get up there, and it was going to be Hillary coming out with Bill, clap, 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 fireworks, balloons all over the place. And then all you had was people just sitting there crying, holding each other, tears falling down their eyes, open face weeping.
Liberal tears.
We've got that video. Oh, send me the video, would you? 9:34. We should probably take a break here. But there is now, even though I have not necessarily talked about the poll, I recognize that somebody might have wandered to the website and filled it in anyway. So let me see if there's any results to speak of so far. Donald Trump with an uncomfortable lead over Joe Biden. 54.55% of point listeners say Donald Trump is going to win the election. 35% say Joe Biden, but 10% of you are going, can I have another option? And unfortunately, the answer is no. You're just going to, if you don't like Donald Trump, but you don't hate him enough to vote for Joe Biden, you're going to have to bite the bullet and vote for Donald Trump. At least under Donald, pandemic notwithstanding, we still got the Dow chasing 27,000. 9:35 in the morning. 888-255-8888-TALK is the telephone number. 988-5874. That's WhatsApp, which is another great way that you can communicate with Joe and Mana and I. 988-5874. And let me give you one more phone number if you can handle it. 888-8888. Which is the phone number to iConnect. If they're not open now, they will be shortly, and they'll be happy to talk to you about your plans, about your service, and if there's other things that you need there. Their answer to the question is whatever it is, we'll figure out a way to make it work, and they will. 888-8888.
GPSI Guam is a professional technical services company that is a registered contractor for the federal government. They are SBA approved, 8A, and HubZone certified, providing program and project management, administration, technical support, logistics, and commodities. Find out more about GPSI and how they can help you today. Contact GPSI if you need assistance in meeting your small business subcontracting goals at 671-477-3058. They'll be happy to assist.
Woo-wee! Just take a gander at them tender and juicy fall-off-the-bone St. Louis ribs. Heavens to Betsy! What is their secret? It's bursting with so much flavor, I can eat them all day long. Come see for yourself, y'all. These fine slabs of hunky-dory, mouth-watering ribs are only available at Circle K. Circle K. Take it easy.
been a few minutes since I've had a chance to take a look and see who's playing around on the Facebook Live, so indulge me just a couple to say good morning to Joey St. Nicholas, Lynn Perez, Ursel, Darius Cook is online. Hi, Felix Regis, Maria Teresa Regis Brewer from over at the Lotte Hotel is online. Good to have you there. Jess Chewy Cordero. Grinders. That's when he chimed in when I was talking with Joey. Jay Devon is there. Bill Mayfield is online this morning. It's good to have you out and about. Yuka Hechanova is over at the hospital, but online watching the program. Joey Tovis, Randy Landis, what you got to say about that? Hannity, the best, probably the most narcissistic. Okay, so go to Talkers Magazine, Randy. That's where the top 40. Actually, there's a top 100 of the talk shows all across the country, mostly national guys. The one guy that's in there that we can't get, who's the shock jock? Who's on Sirius XM?
Oh, Stern.
Yeah, Stern.
Is that Howard Stern?
Howard Stern. We can't. He's obviously not available through any of the usual syndicators because he says potty words on the radio. But anyway, so yeah, I get it. Hannity's probably the most narcissistic. Although I would like to be put down if we're ranking based on narcissism, I'd like to be in the top 5.
Yeah.
If it's possible. Now some people would say it's self-love. Some people would go, because there's that revolution, with self-love, self-care, and everybody's, and they're going, and maybe it's time that you looked out for yourself, date yourself, do things that are nice for you, do things that, but I think that, there's a real danger of that turning into actual narcissism where I want people to do, up to the governor and the legislature as well. I want them to do things because it will be convenient for me, because it will be less, I don't know, inconvenient for me to do the things that I want to do. I want to be able to do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it under the guise of self-love and not have to worry about hurting anybody's feelings or, I don't know, breaking some stupid laws. So thanks, Randy. I appreciate you letting me get into that for a second. James, Rose, Marie, Cruz, Karina, Gutierrez, Ludwig is there. Tanya Toby, hope everyone's having an awesome and blessed day. Well, now that I see your name, Tanya. Nate Orn, whatever happened to the murder hornets? They came up with something new besides murder hornets, didn't they? A couple of weeks ago, last week, tomorrow. Because they're always going to have something. Oh, was it a raccoon somewhere that had bubonic plague?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the other one.
The Black Death.
Yeah. Here's the deal, guys, is that this is the only media that you can trust. And when I say this, I don't mean like just radio. I mean this radio station. We're the only ones that you can trust. I don't generally have a bias against anybody until they strike me as jerks or until they strike me as having inconsistent thinking and not in congruence with what I would like to think is conventional wisdom. So, and I'll give you an example. So we go to PCOR 3. And a lot more businesses can open, but they're all opening up with the same restrictions. So PCOR 3, my favorite restaurants have a lady in the front who will take my temperature. There's somebody in the front, might be the same lady, that will squirt some hand sanitizer, like I'm going to touch her at some point. And so I've got that going. Wherever it is that I'm going to sit has been sanitized. Somebody's gone there with another squirt bottle and cleaned the place up. I will be given a one-time use paper menu, or as is the case in some, I will be given a piece of shown something with a QR code on it, and the menu will be on my phone. How convenient! That way they can change prices whenever they want. Nobody will notice. But anyway, so that's just the thing. So we've gone through all of these steps. And I think the restaurants and bars have done an outstanding job with that. Why are they still at 50%? So there was a place I went to, and they were able to achieve 50% capacity on Sunday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Really? Is it because they were that busy on Sunday? No, it's because there's so many people working in the back that get included into this. And you get many more than 20 people, that's it. We're at max. And so we can't let number 21 in, even though they can spend some money. There's there needs to be a look at this. It's not going to happen today because +8, even though they're all in quarantine from traveling. But that's in my mind. There's another one of those things. Well, what's the next thing that's going to scare us? How about Bill Cruz having a good time writing back and forth in this morning? Debbie Cannata, when talking to Jack about some of the things that she wants more of, peppers, eggplants, bitter melon, and herbs. Bitter melon. It's one of those things where people swear up and down, you eat enough bitter melon, you're never going to die. But the problem is, you got to eat a lot of bitter melon. There's a reason why they call that bitter melon. Is that one of your favorites when you see that on the Fiesta table since you were a boy? You remember when you were a boy, you loaded up on some of that, stick it in the rice, eat it like regular, like it's Daigou or something like that. And you go
hair on your chest.
Yep. That's where we go. Where to now? Debbie Cannat. Or just there are conversations amongst you guys and back and forth with me. That's cool. Chris Biachino's online this morning. Ismail, COVID-19 changed the business world. Many corporations have figured out that many of their employees can work from home. And still get the job done. And in other cases, there's a lot of companies that have learned that not only can their employees work from home, but in some cases, many of the things that they were doing don't need to be done. It's just one of these things. I don't know. Somebody said that so-and-so in the accounting department, we need to have her around because she does all of these these reports. Well, do we really need these reports? Nah. Is it something we can automate? Yeah. Okay. Bye. What's the line? There's always room for one less person. and unfortunately, Ismail, here's what's going to happen. I agree with many of the bears that these are going to be some tough times ahead for us. There was a story I wanted to read. It didn't print out properly from Hawaii Free Press. And here's a story. There's more to it, but it's an interesting review. Under the headline, Hawaii just decided to kill off the tourism industry. Intentionally or not, Hawaii may have just reached a crossroads in planning for its economic future. Its reliance on its bedrock visitor industry has been shaken to the core by the global coronavirus pandemic, and there may need to be a redeployment of its workforce. The signal came down on Monday when Governor David Ige announced he was delaying for a month the high-stakes plan to start a gradual reboot of the tourism industry, which had been slated to launch August 1st. The testing and waiver had been seen as a key component in risk mitigation, allowing for a gradual but significant increase in arrivals. And when that part got postponed, business owners and employees, especially those most closely allied with the tourism industry, were deeply worried, some with fading prospects for survival. Let me underline that and say that again. Some with fading prospects for survival. Every day that a boss, especially of a small business company, every day that the guy goes in and looks at the audience dwindling, looks at the customer base dwindling, looks at their daily receipts getting smaller and smaller, and the expenses getting bigger and bigger and bigger. All of this is a leap of faith. As they say, we're taking our capital and putting it at risk because we think there's going to be a payoff down the road. Now, there's some satisfaction in going to work every day, hitting the boys at the chamber, hitting the boys over at the Rotary Club and the golf course. Go, yeah. I mean, I'm in business. I'm a small business guy. I'm a businessman. I got a plan. I got a hustle. Look at me. I'm big shot. Mr. Business Big Shot. But at some point, when you are confronted with the reality that the numbers have gone down on the revenue side, and there's not going to be a whole lot behind the numbers going back up anytime soon, but the cost of electricity, cost of water, cost of rent, cost of credit, maybe those numbers are going up a little bit too high for you. Cost of the employees. We have another pay increase coming up soon. Cost of the employees going up, and pretty soon you go, maybe just time to start thinking about doing something else. Maybe it's time to start, I'll go find a job somewhere. I'll leave my business venture here. I'll go find some sucker to buy it. That's what I'll do. There's a couple of nightclubs down in Tumon. Serious. There's a couple of nightclubs down in Tumon. They were for sale before COVID-19, but now that COVID-19 has come and gone, and we don't have a lot of tourists coming back in, or any idea when they're going to start coming in, there's a lot of places saying, that's it, we're done. We were thinking about expanding, but expanding versus shutting down. Shutting down's easier. Let's do that. And walkaways, hand the pink slips to everybody. Fading prospects for survival. So everybody says, no, it's greed, it's profit that motivates guys. It's just guys that want to be in business, fill a need in the community, and they won't be able to do it anymore. It now means that at least 1 month more of paying bills just to stay afloat. A number of them will decide they don't believe businesses will ramp up to a level they can sustain. Almost certainly they will close for good. Some already have. Essential now are fresh ideas about economic directions for the states. Now, ours is not the only chamber of commerce, obviously, that is chewing on that. Our guys, in fact, I've got them coming in at some point this week to talk about proposed economic diversification initiatives for Guam. You're funny, Randy. Randy Landis says, anytime I can leave a comment on the point that leads to a talking point, I feel like I've accomplished something and I can take a nap now. Not a long nap. I'll always need you. Proposed economic diversification initiatives for Guam. They are talking about alternative dispute resolution. Enough, Malik. Captive insurance. We've got that here on Guam, but I want to say that the only guys that are in it right now are local insurance companies. I don't know if there's a whole lot of guys that would be coming in from the States to provide captive insurance. In fact, that's one of the reasons why there's many insurance companies on Guam that don't pay limited amounts of taxes, because of the incentive that was provided by legislation and GITA on captive insurance years ago. Guam Trust Law, relocation of high-wealth individuals and business from Asia. We all are thinking the same thing. The mainland Chinese clamping down on the special economic zone that is Hong Kong, squeezing it more and more and more and more every day until it will be virtually identical to what's happening in the mainland. And there may be businesses there that would like to offshore their concerns, or as in the case of American companies, reshore to America. Well, we are America in Asia. And I think that's some of the conventional wisdom is let's start talking to these guys about coming over here. We are just like Hong Kong. Pharmaceutical manufacturing relocation to U.S. territories. I'm familiar with talking to the guys from a couple of big pharma places in the Philippines that were looking at opportunities here on Guam. That might have been 10 years ago. Construction, ship repair, and labor, safe haven ports, satellite launching, SpaceX, and Silicon Valley Initiative. Those are some of the things that they're talking about over at the Guam Chamber, and we'll yak on that, as I said, a little bit later on in the week. What about you? You got any ideas? There was a guy, there are a couple of people, you've seen this. It was a dude on Twitter or something that was talking about, let's kill the tourist economy. Just forget it's over. That model is not going to work, and if it is going to work, it won't work for a long, long time, and that's okay. I'm going, really? We'll be attractive to all these other businesses. We will. Have you seen the math scores that some of these kids are graduating with? Now, ask anybody. I'm not a great math whiz. I know my way through it. I can do it, right? Know how to put together a couple of spreadsheets for the work that I can't do in my head. But I'm one of those guys. You add this 4-digit number to that 4-digit number. Forget it. I'm done. Especially if there's an 8 or a 7 in it. It just is. I don't know why. I can't do it. There's a wall in front of me. But you take a look at our test scores. You think these big highfalutin economic companies, that are used to literally having guys coming into their businesses with applications that have got some real education behind them. Now, I'm not going to say we're graduating dummies, but I've seen the scores, guys, and that if that is going to be the raw material that we've got to deal with, then we're going to have to recognize. And has been done in the past, that we need to do a better job of educating these kids. There was a time with these guys, promotional, whatever, we're just going to social promotion. Were their grades good enough to get them to go from the 5th grade to 6th grade to middle school? Nah, but the stigma. So we let them go on and presume that the next teacher is going to be the one that wakes up that desire to learn. In a lot of cases, it just doesn't happen. You know, it's where the guys can go to get in trouble, meet girls. Girls go to meet guys, you know, some kind of weird social thing that goes on in the schools. And more needs to be done with that. Now, I'm not saying that applies to everybody all the way across the board. I would never profile like that. But you know as well as I do that there are some people that are graduating out of schools here on Guam and around that aren't going to have the mathematical skills and the writing and communication skills that are required in businesses like the kind that she's talking about here. There are no dummies in the insurance business. I grant you that. And virtually every other thing that they were talking about here is going to require people, even high school graduates that come out that are smarter than the average bear. Pharmaceutical manufacturing relocation to U.S. territories. The people that are actually pushing the buttons might not have to have too many skills, but the people that manage that and see to the investment are going to. Satellite launching, Silicon Village initiative. Okay. All right. So that's going to be the goal of our educational system here on Guam, is to create that raw material that is a highly educated, literate, math-friendly base from which to build our economy from, that will bring in jobs that start at $70,000, $75,000 a year. Anyway, 9:53 in the morning, 888-8255. Agree, disagree. It's all right. We can talk about that all day long. In the meantime, let me just take this last break of the program. Be right back.
Docomo Pacific Business presents the Work Better Together webinar series. Session 1's topic is Reconnecting Guam, Tourism's Path Forward. This free webinar will feature industry experts in tourism and technology sharing the latest information on the future of tourism in Asia Pacific. Join this 2-hour online event on July 29th at 10 a.m. Register for free at docomopacific.eventbrite.com. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
Is your company providing the best management practices to create a safe workplace? Injuries could cost you a great deal of financial stress. OSH Solutions offers safety training and consultation services including OSHA, USDOT Hazmat, CPR, and forklifts that meet or exceed expectations. They provide on-site consultation support to companies in construction and general industries. Safeguard your business with OSH Solutions today. Call 969-0734.
What's that? Auntie Debbie saying, adding to the list of things that she wants Jack to grow. Now, you got to remember, they got to have a big market for this. Dragon fruit, and I will say yes on that. I was given some dragon fruit until I realized that my neighbor's dragon fruit is hanging over on my side of the fence.
Fair game.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I got a tree with those little pickles that go into the Filipino food that hangs over on their side. And they're grabbing those all the time. It's, as far as it's all fair. Guavas, yes. Star apples. Okay, so guavas, but not when they're older and super pink on the inside and all that. I like them when they're. And for me, it's an alternative to a sour mango. And that's where I like them. Unfortunately, I don't know that I've got the teeth strength to be able to eat those like I did when I was a kid. Yes, on the star apples, Otis, and I have Otis. Wen gave me some Otis seeds, and they're growing great. They're not ready to transplant and put into the outside just yet, man. It needs a little bit more growth inside the container. But I will be hopefully growing Otis over at my house. Now, what I want to do is be able to figure out how I can grow great Otis. Because you see that every once in a while. It'll be like wild Otis growing in somebody's backyard that they planted 100 years ago and now never water. And they come out and they're little small guys. I want the ones that are big around like a grapefruit. And I've seen them, so I know it's possible. They've got avocados. Avocados is another easy one here, which is, it freaks me out every once in a while. I'll go someplace. Can I have a hamburger and put some avocado on it? We're out. How can you be out of avocado? Mango trees are growing avocados now. How is that even possible? I don't like Guam where it feels like it's always avocado season. You ever notice avocados and mangoes are the same, right? When they start coming in, it's like the guy's got avocados all day, and then can I have some? No, it's just for me. And then late in the season, he comes to the office, he's got bags of avocados. Yeah, here just for you guys. Okay, I remember how it was in the beginning. But yeah, and breadfruit, which God, you know what? If it ever comes to bullets. Ponder this. If it ever comes to bullets and we can't find anything else to eat, go to Anigua. Along the hills in Anigua are breadfruit trees. And as far as I know, they don't belong to anybody. Nobody belongs to them. And they're all, I want to say that when I looked at them, they were all heavy with fruit. And there's a ton of things that you can do with breadfruit. Lemai chips, just start there. Lemai, see, now back in the old days, we had lemai chips, but salt them with dust. But you know how everybody's palate has evolved in 2020? So you could literally, I don't know why we couldn't do, try this out, Li Hing.
Ow.
Breadfruit chips.
That sounds good.
Furikake. Right? Seaweed?
Yeah.
Right? Some Japanese flavor in there, some umami flavor in there.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff that you could do with it. Why not sriracha? So you get breadfruit chips, you fry them up in there, and all kinds of different flavors. You know, if the bottom is falling out, if we don't have the raw material anymore for local Let's On, what's that called again?
Piglet?
No, the piggy skins.
Oh, tatsalons.
Tatsalons.
Yeah.
So we're not doing that anymore. I'm sure he's doing it. I'm just saying, it might be a nice sideline because you can always get your hands on that. Or figure out the Micronesians. Have you seen the stuff? You've gone to the mom and pop stores, right?
Yeah.
You've seen con.
What's that?
It's fermented. If I get it right, it is fermented breadfruit.
No, I've never.
And you've seen it. It's all saran wrapped. It looks like a thing of dough.
I probably smelled it.
That might be why you didn't get it. But what is the magic behind that? Somebody needs to. If you're Micronesian, you know what? Next time we get Clint Rigel on the phone, we got to ask him about that.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because I'm sure at some point in his life, his mom brought some to the table and said, "Here, try this. It's con. It's from where we're from in Micronesia." But he was born in America. Somebody turned his nose up and I said, "It's smelly, mommy." So find out what the magic is. There might be something to all of that. 888-825-5888-TALK. Keep that number handy. You might need that number. A little bit later on, we got His Honor. Bob Klitsky's going to be on Tall Tales in the program. I have left him a couple of things. Jackfruit, you can use that to make adobo. It's true. Tzodi has all of the good stuff. So if you're looking for opportunities to sell some of the stuff they run out of, then that might be a good thing. There's somebody else asking about durian. Why are we going through the durian conversation again? An opportunity to go find those the pictures of the cats smelling it and making looking like they're going to gag. Hey, I got to go. Yeah, today was a fun day. There's, as usual, a bunch of stuff on the table of contents that I did not get to because other more interesting, shiny things happened. And we're just going to have to deal with that. That's why we got tomorrow, right? So for Real Joe Cruz and Montesilva Tyrant and Jerry Roberts, my name is Ray Gibson. Fox News Live is going to be coming up. I want to say we got, the usual Monday programs on, but it's not Monday, so we got we're going to have Brian Kilmeade and whoever's sitting in for Rush, maybe even Rush, going to be on a little bit later on. And yeah, the number one guy in talk radio, Sean Hannity, is going to be on right after Tall Tales with His Honor. It's 10 o'clock. This is The Point.
Encouraging mask use. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. President Trump today discussing the pandemic during a White House press conference and encouraging the use of face coverings to help stop the spread of coronavirus.
We are imploring young Americans to avoid packed bars and other crowded indoor gatherings. Be safe and be smart.
The president also calling for everyone to social distance, wash hands, and for those at high risk to shelter themselves to help reduce the possibility of contracting the virus. President Trump today moving to bar illegal immigrants from being counted when it comes time to redraw congressional districts. Democrats say the move won't hold up in court, calling it a political action to please his supporters. The Supreme Court previously blocked the president from including a citizenship question on the census. The Trump administration today saying Republican leaders are looking at items to